Heaven forbid they actually mix the dough this morning. What does it take? 2 minutes?
I don't know.
Yeah. How's everyone?
Oh yeah.
Y'all look too goddamn cheery to be up this early in the
I
morning.
know. Don't swear. Live, Tom.
Bridget, you're the audience motivator.
I'm the audience motivator. Yes, I remember.
Does everyone know what this is? Any idea? You get a free jar of spice rub.
Turn it the other way.
You get a free jar of spice rub if you can tell me what's in my hand right now.
Sunglasses and lotion.
What kind of lotion? What kind of
The
lotion?
guy in the second row got it.
You get it right there's sun and sunglasses. You know what that means? Why do I need that? Why would I have that in Seattle?
In his pocket.
In my pocket.
Look at how pale he is.
Uh-huh. Nice job. Yeah, nice job.
Yesterday was beautiful.
Yeah, 215 Delta. 4B is my seat.
You're gonna get.
And I'm having the
stalkers.
meatloaf for my meal.
Oh, I'm having the Oh, I'm not in Delta. I'm on Hawaiian,
Okay.
Alaska.
Anyway, just thought I'd share.
Totally.
Oh, I don't know. Does it? Oh, does it? Team Hot Stove. I just poured myself a cup of hot water, and it's ice cold. Somebody put hot water in the hot water container.
You can't figure out the
But
hot
you
water,
saw
Tom.
me go there, right? And you just thought, oh,
They were supposed to stop
we're
what
gonna
they were
get Tom
doing and
this morning.
scramble over to get Tom
we're
hot
gonna get
water.
Tom this morning.
They're jealous.
I have hot water.
You know what this is, Cam? Yeah, right there.
The Big Island?
Right there in my hand, my vacation.
Big Island?
Take your hot water and put it you know where. Let's see. Good morning, Becky.
Good morning, Tom.
Everyone, our restrooms are down this hallway. 6134 is the number. Sean is cooking your breakfast, so thank the Lordy for good news there. We are going to have a little Spanish tortilla, a little chorizo, and a little ruby chard
Yes.
with this blueberry muffin that they forgot the Demura sugar on top.
It's all right. We don't need the extra sugar. It's January.
Sean, what happened to the sugar on top of our muffins?
It was early. It was dark. He couldn't see.
So I just have one other question. Was Cam doing such a horrible job on the radio that Nico has to step in, or what was the deal? Cam was doing so well that you felt intimidated. Yeah. Sean used to be our producer, our what is that person?
He's a
Technical director.
Co-technical.
And now Cam is.
Yeah.
I haven't seen Sean do it in a while.
Sean's the boss. He did it before I left.
Now Nico is here. Nico, what's your last name? Of course it
Galliano.
is.
What are you Italian?
Nico Harvey Wallbanger. That's the only
Is that what's in?
Galliano.
No kidding, huh?
So now you got a little monkey bridge.
Yeah, that
Perfect.
too.
Monkey bridge, monkey bridge.
We are live on YouTube right now. If you want to see yourselves later, just go to our channel at Tom Douglas and Co. and you can find your picture. If you're here clandestinely, I wouldn't look. It's still sad for me to look over and not see our chef friend Terry over here, but
I
I'm
know.
happy to have Bridget back from Spain.
Thanks, Tom.
And
I miss Terry too.
yeah, everyone.
I keep hearing his voice when I sit here.
Although Terry's now been gone for 14 months.
Yeah.
And a
Thanks for listening.
A guy at on New Year's was telling me how much he loved our show, and especially Terry. And I said, "Well," he said he listened every week. I said, "Well, Terry's not here anymore." Where did he go?
Oh, whoops.
Oops.
So much for every week. Maybe
Every week
every 5
A
years.
couple of years ago.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Deep breath.
It was hard a couple of weeks ago.
Are you going to give some instructions to our audience about motivation?
I will. I'm going to put my hands up and clap. And since you guys are such a large group, it's going to be fabulous because it'll be raucous and loud, which shows enthusiasm for this fine show.
There we go. And you're free to talk amongst yourselves during the show. You just can't be overly loud, but chit chat is not a problem.
We like clatter.
Anything else, Becky?
Nope. The restroom code is right on the side of the door. I think you already said that.
Yep. Thanks for nothing.
Yep.
How was skiing?
It was great.
Yeah.
It was great. Yeah. We need a lot more snow, but
Oh, really?
how was the farm?
The farm was cold.
Yeah.
It doesn't stop.
Oh,
Yeah.
always.
Yeah, always.
I guess the wind blew off the chicken coop, and I was busy making new chicken coop doors.
Oh,
Oh,
Which
the
is
fox
funny
didn't
because-
get into the hen house.
Which
though,
is
right?
funny because every time we go over, my wife says, we have to kill these effing chickens because they're stopped laying eggs. Okay, so let's just leave the door off.
Oh, there you
Let
But
go.
the fox
instead,
get 'em.
instead I have spent 8 hours building a door that didn't work.
She can just mix a few new ones in, right?
I will tell you though, if you're
No.
building doors and you go for that barn door rail with the rollers and all
Yeah.
that kind of stuff, it's a pain in the butt.
yeah.
Oh, where it slides across?
Yeah.
You don't have the electric automatic doors?
That's what I used to have.
Can you talk to her?
My sister kept trying to talk me into it, and I regret it because we had our final chicken slaughter, and I was like, why didn't I do that?
Yeah. We have the most expensive chickens in the world.
Very spoiled.
Welcome to the Hot Stove Society radio show on Cairo Radio. Thank you for joining us this week. We're on every Saturday and Sunday here on Cairo. We're also podcastable
Yep.
and
Favorite app?
favorite app. And you can also look at the show live if you choose on YouTube, our YouTube channel at TD and Co. on Thursday mornings. So as we do it.
Yep.
We
good
are
stuff.
at the beautiful Hotel Andra in downtown Seattle, 4th and Virginia, above Lola, across the street from the Dahlia Bakery, and our brand new little what's a bistro called in Italy? Italy, as
Osteria.
Osteria, as Armandino would say, Italy.
Italy.
That's what he says. How is Armandino?
He's great. I went to this event, and I looked over, and I was like, Dino! I yelled across the
Uh-huh.
room. I was there with my friend Lucho, and
And you're
He's
referring
great.
to Armandino Batali.
Yeah,
yeah.
Mario's dad.
And he was there socializing. Some dude was playing music. He was having a ball. It was
That's nice.
the Italian community. It was
I haven't-
nice.
I haven't seen him for a few months, and he was looking frail last time I saw him. But
He's
he's-
definitely
it's
gotten
just-
skinny.
yeah, he's just older. We're coming to you from the kitchen studios here at the beautiful Hot Stove Society. We are serving breakfast this morning. Sean is on breakfast of a beautiful Spanish-style tapas. We're going to talk a little bit about
Yeah.
Spain today, aren't we?
We are.
You and the masses
thought of you
were in
often.
Seville,
Yeah. Well, Barcelona, Seville, Malaga.
Malaga.
And then the train stations and the plane
Yeah.
stations.
Hence, you're here with a cold.
You know, I had it the whole darn time.
Ugh, yuck.
I didn't have it when I left. But then you hear those people on the plane. I wore a mask.
You're listening to the velvet voice of Bridget Charters, who's one of the instructors here at the Hot Stove. And you sound like Mel Torme this morning.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you, Tom.
We have a few classes coming up here. Drink Like an Italian, Trentino Alto Adige with Chef
Oh,
Bridget
man.
Charters.
Yep.
And Cocktail Master Julie Ross. That's up on January 17th. Kind of fun
Uh-huh.
to come hang out. And
It's gonna be a great class. It's an interesting area. I was there a number of years ago and did a ski trip there.
Uh-huh.
And it's so cool, and it's such an interesting remote area of Italy. No tourists.
oh, love that part.
Yeah.
Classes are posted through the end of February. Check them out at hotstovesociety.com. You chose to leave us during our busiest season of the year here at the
I
Hot
did not.
Stove
No, I
Society,
left.
and you missed
No.
some really fun classes like New Year's Eve.
I
We
know.
Went to Memphis. We made cabbage rolls one day. We made meatballs, take and make meatballs, make and take. I guess it's the other way around. Meatballs and make and
Cabbage
take
rolls, man. Wow. Super exciting.
They were exciting.
It was sold out,
It was
Bridget.
sold out.
Yes.
Exciting. You owe me some money, I believe. I think somebody told me
That's
that class.
true. I did place
Yeah.
a bet, didn't I?
On today's show, we're going to talk to you, Bridget, about not traveling during the holiday season, because it turns out everyone likes to travel during the holiday season.
Yeah.
But we're really going to jump into Spain. We're going to find out which condiments are worth making from scratch.
Mhm.
I can't imagine there's too many.
It's
If you
surprising.
think about mustard, ketchup, mayo, things like that, I can't imagine there's
Right.
pickles, maybe pickle relish. We're going to turn ordinary lasagna into something extraordinary. You have a thought here? Do you hate lasagna?
I
that you
love
want?
lasagna.
You love lasagna.
Yeah,
See, I
everything
hate-
you do.
well, I don't hate it. I just
You
most
haven't
people
had
just
good
make this big,
lasagna.
thick, blocky, gross thing.
So then you'll be able to help us make it
Yes.
extraordinary.
Yes, exactly. But don't you think when people say, "Oh, I make the best lasagna,"
Oh, it's
and
true.
then you taste it, it's like,
If they have an Italian
You
accent,
should try
I'm like,
another line of
thumbs
work.
up. Yeah.
you should come up
Keep
with
your
a
day
new
job.
specialty.
I bet Becky makes good lasagna.
I do. I do sweet potatoes. It's kind of really thin on the
Oh.
KitchenAid.
How many people
attachment.
in our audience today think they make the best lasagna? There's one, two. Okay, we might have to have you come up and tell us about it a little bit. So
Yeah.
be prepared to talk it through. Chef Sean McFadden takes us through the bold and vibrant world of New Orleans, Creole, and Cajun cuisine. He must have a class coming up on that.
Mhm.
That's a National Soup Month. So here's the thing. I want you guys to think about this too.
Okay.
Is it reasonable for a guy like me, big, fat, white, mutt, Caucasian dude,
Yeah.
to think that I make better pozole than Carmen at our restaurant, at our farm, who thinks she makes the best pozole, and she's 100% Latino?
Absolutely. It's
Is
doable.
it reasonable for me
Yes.
to think
Yes.
that our paths vary and that mine's a better path?
Well, clearly you do believe that. So.
I said, is it reasonable?
Sure. It's
to
reasonable
challenge
because your exposure is
the
so
traditional.
different than hers. I mean,
Absolutely.
you've been exposed because of 860 employees working from all over Mexico. Those folks inputting into your brain all their variations to pozole.
I
You
don't
know.
We'll see. We'll talk it through.
Okay.
We got that coming up in our National Soup Month episode. We're going to start the year off talking about condiments. Do you have a favorite condiment?
Well, actually, that was the pantry. But condiments.
Pantry?
Yeah. So this is refreshing
Oh,
the
yeah, yeah,
pantry.
yeah.
And it's just a good time to clean out and bring new in.
Well, I'll tell you a little story about that when
Great.
that is up. Remind me about mushroom ravioli.
Okay.
Okay. And as always, we wrap up the show with our food for thought tasty trivia brought to you by Rub with Love Spice Rubs, a delicious line of rubs that I happen to make personally.
I know. I used some last night. I made a chicken stew
No
and I
way.
used some veggie rub.
No way.
Because my brain I'd been on a 9-hour flight and I was like, how do I season this? So I grabbed a handful of veggie rub.
my
And it was
fave.
delicious.
I did it. When we tape here once a month, we tape 2 or 3 episodes for evening on King 5.
Yeah.
So I always have a recipe floating around here or there. But this last one I did my version of pigs in a blanket.
Oh, fun.
Did you use your barbecue
They
rub?
were
What'd you
the
use?
bomb. They
Really?
were the bomb.
What was the
Oh my
trick?
God.
The trick was, well, number one, the first batch I had to throw out because they all came apart.
Uh-huh.
But second
Egg
trick-
wash.
I know. I wasn't thinking. It was early, blah, blah, blah. But then I finished them. I like a nice crunchy rub on top of the, I think traditionally
Oh,
it's
that's
like
a good
poppy
idea.
seed, right?
They're kind of mushy.
Yeah, but traditionally I think it's poppy seed that you egg
Yeah,
wash it and you
right.
sprinkle a little poppy seed. Well, I use veggie rub on it, which is a
Ooh.
bunch of fennel seed and
Oh.
toasted garlic. and
Pizza rub would be good too.
Pizza rub would be good.
Ooh.
Roast rub.
Did you use Vienna sausages?
I did not.
Thank God. Did
I
you make your
used-
own sausage?
I did not.
Oh,
But there's some good cocktail weenies in the marketplace right now.
sorry, dude. Can't.
There
sell you
is
on that.
Beelers.
Who?
Beelers. Beelers.
Oh, I've seen that brand. It's
Beelers
good?
cocktail weenies They have. I use their jalapeno cheese cocktail,
Oh,
and they're
that
about
would
the
be good.
size. They're even smaller than my pinky finger, so they're perfect for pigs in a blanket.
And did you use the puff, the Do For puff
The
from the
Dufour,
Perfect.
and I even showed on TV the ingredient list, which was 100. It's the first ingredient is butter.
butter? Right
Who
on.
knew? And there's no like filler ingredient. It's butter.
Yeah.
So just saying, I took cocktail pigs in a blanket to a whole new level.
So they can go to king5.com and type your name in, and the recipe will be there.
I don't know how that works because it hasn't been aired yet.
Oh, it hasn't.
It's
not yet.
it was an episode they wanted for the big game.
Oh, perfect.
Mm.
Because say it's they had said, do you have
The
anything,
big game.
any
that the
ideas for the
Seahawks
big game?
aren't-
No, you're not allowed to call it the Super Bowl.
Why?
Yeah, it's protected, I guess.
I mean, you can't.
Wait,
I don't-
we the big game.
The big game.
But we got notice after we'd done the show, so
Uh-huh.
they had to edit out you and I. And
Oh,
they had to-
really?
they had to- yeah, it was pretty funny. It sounded. Sean did a great job. Thank you, Sean. But it was funny. So now we know this year.
Yeah, it's the big game.
Capitalist.
So that'll be my
capitalist.
taste of the week. Are my decadent pigs in a blanket.
I think we might need to do a
Back,
tasting panel.
circling back, we were talking about Tom's Rub with Loves.
Yeah, and
Just to
sprinkle
loop
the-
back
Well, you
for
sprinkle
everybody.
the cottage, and then when you bake them, the rub gets crispy on top and has a nice little crunch. The dough is super buttery. The little weenies are good. So it's just it's an elevated pigs in a blanket.
So this is my idea, Tom. I think that you should start making large containers of veggie rub because I would buy them.
okay, so there's one sale. Thank you very much.
No, I think a lot of people.
Two.
Yeah, look, some people
Two.
are raising their hand.
But so
You know how many salmon rub I sell a month?
I don't care. I'm talking about veggie rub.
30,000 salmon rub a
Really?
month. Yeah.
Yeah.
You know how many you have to sell to make a profit? 32,000.
that's funny. So Bridget, you were traveling for 2 weeks, so your taste of the week must be hard to choose from.
You only have a
No.
minute. You only have a minute. So
No, my taste of the week. Ready to go?
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Okay, we got on. There are not a lot of veggies in Spain. I mean, there is, but there isn't.
peppers, eggplant, and onion.
Yeah. And so we just were craving salads and vegetables and things like that. Well, the kids found this place called Billy Brunch in Barcelona, and there was another one called Brunch It. And we would get up early, like, okay, what time do they open? And we would be the first people there standing in line at these brunch places. Spectacular, like avocado toast, things of that nature. So my favorite was their beautiful breads in Spain, toasted with like 3 scrambled eggs on top and a salad piled on top of that. That was breakfast.
Uh-huh.
And they had all kinds of cool condiments, but when you ordered it, they wouldn't really season it much, and they give you a bottle of olive oil and a salt and pepper grinder.
Yeah.
So that was breakfast every morning with what's called a flat white.
Yeah.
That's a latte.
So you know the good news about that breakfast? It'll keep you regular and fill your belly.
Yeah, but that's what
Olive
I had
oil
for
and
the
avocado,
entire
man.
day.
Yeah.
Oh man, it was delicious. Well toasted bread. So I would go to Seawolf and get their nice sourdough loaf, cut a nice thick slice,
Yeah.
smash an avocado on there.
I just found out that Seawolf owns Oxbow up on Montlake. Did you
Oh.
know that?
Did
I didn't know
I
that.
did not know that either. Yeah, I heard that yesterday.
And what was your taste?
I had driven
Tom?
by Oxbow's,
we already
next
got
to Oxbow's next to Cafe Lago, and I just
Yeah.
looked in. There's a big, beautiful kitchen in there, and it's like, what the heck is that? Why don't I know about this? And I just found out yesterday.
Nice.
I did a little research. Okay, when we come back, let's talk about Spain. What meals came after that lovely avocado and scrambled egg toast? On Cairo Radio, it's the Hot Stove Society Show, 97.3 FM. What do you think, team? Do you suppose we have any hot water over here?
Funny.
Yeah.
Oh yes, yeah.
many of you guys are all friends in the front row here?
There's 8 of us.
8 of you.
Oh, nice.
How did you end up here?
She's been here before and she rented.
You
Thank
actually
you.
liked it when you came the first time?
My
Wow.
son took me for Christmas 2 years ago.
Ah.
My husband-
Oh, thanks for coming.
We had-
Have you been to a class?
No, but we were just saying we just sign up. We're gonna sign up, yeah.
Perfect.
And a few of us were just in Spain.
Oh, really? Where did you guys go?
We were in Mallorca.
Oh.
I was there a couple years ago. I loved
Did you play tennis at the Nadal place?
We saw it, but we didn't know.
Oh. Yeah, he's got a big tennis center and gives lessons. You can go sign up and they'll set you up with a pro, and Rafa might show up.
There was 12 of us.
Did you fly into Madrid and then Mallorca, or did you do Paris, Mallorca?
Well, I had the great luck of visiting a friend in Lisbon.
Oh,
Spent time with her and then flew over from Lisbon straight to
nice.
on the way home. It was Frankfurt. Yeah.
Ah.
Most of us did that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Sounds fun. You know what this is for, Becky?
I do.
Where's yours?
Mine. I'm a couple hours after you,
Okay.
so
So you're going home first.
Where are you going?
I'm going to Maui with Cheryl's 60th birthday.
Oh,
8 of us.
tell her happy
Shiro
birthday
Kashiba?
for me.
No.
How fun. Where?
Yeah. And Jennifer Ledbetter.
Oh,
All right, we're back here in the Hot Stove Kitchen on Cairo. It's time for Bridget Charters, who just got off an airplane
I did.
with the crud, to tell us about a little
I'm
bit
at the
of.
tail end of it.
Well, yeah, that's why I'm over here and you're over there.
8 feet away.
Yeah, exactly. We should put a fumigation tent around you.
I know. It's
'Cause
true.
know
I wore a
it's
mask.
catchable because your whole family got it while you were there in Europe.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. So anyway, Bridget, let's talk about your trip. I thought you went to Paris for the weekend and then we're coming back to help us get through the,
The
busiest
busiest
time of
time
year
of year.
at the Hot Stove.
No, I was
Society.
here for the busiest time of year.
But apparently not. Because you had said you're going to Paris for 3 days, and I didn't
Correct.
realize there was something past Paris.
Well, it was quite nice. There's that Air France direct from Seattle to Paris, and it's quite the lovely flight.
Uh-huh. What was your entree? Because Air France is the company that developed sous vide.
Oh.
Ah,
Yeah, they developed it for first class meals on their
back in
Airplanes.
the 80s,
You might-
70s even.
70s.
You might
Yeah.
see this
Wow.
on trivia sometime.
Yeah. I don't remember. But my husband ordered gluten-free vegetarian. So it was great.
Oh
I got
my
a salad. I got fruit.
Have you thought about a divorce?
No, it was perfect.
Okay, okay.
My husband was jealous because my meal came out first and it was very nice.
Uh-huh.
But anyway, it was quite comfortable. It
Okay,
was
now
very
we're in
nice.
Paris.
We're in Paris. So we landed and we went right into we had booked over near the Eiffel Tower, and all my friends were like, "You want to be in the center? You want to be over in the center? Arc de Triomphe, Opera." I mean, Paris is massive, and I've never been
Oh, wow.
because the
That
French.
is a shocker.
That's surprising.
Yeah.
I know.
Yeah.
Well, when I was training and working with all those French chefs, they were all jerks, and I was like, I'm not doing this, man. So I was working in San Francisco, and I got offered a job in Italy, and so then, boom, that was it. Those were all my studies. Were trips back, traveling throughout Italy, but I had,
Did it
been to
meet
other places.
expectations or exceed? Or
Yeah,
what?
Paris was amazing. It was beautiful, and
You got there on Christmas Eve, is that right?
we got there on Christmas Day. We landed on Christmas Day, and a couple of people said the Marais, stay in the
Yep, get
Marais.
some-
And I found this last minute, this little Hotel Bretonnier in the Marais, and it was a little threadbare, but the rooms were charming with wallpaper and matching fabrics. These beautiful bathtubs. The rooms were beautiful. They were small. We big Americans and our big suitcases and stuff. It was beautiful.
Did you
I
get falafel in the Marais? That's like
I
a
did.
classic.
So
Lost the falafel.
there were 4 major falafel places within a half a block of where we were, and the big one. Every day, my husband would walk by to see how big the line was,
Uh-huh.
and there were 80 to 100 people
I
in
know.
line.
I've waited in that line before.
And we were like, "What's going on?" And
Was
they
it
go,
worth it?
"Instagram," and we're just like, "Oh my god!" So if something gets posted on Instagram, Paris is huge, and it's immediately on fire.
Well, let's just tell you this. That place has had a line for 40,
Yes.
50 years. It's
No kidding.
Yeah.
Wow. Well, he
It had a
went-
line when I was in Paris 40 years ago.
Really?
Yeah.
So he went to one nearby that didn't have a line because that last day we were there 3 days, and the last day I just succumbed to this cold.
Uh-huh.
So it was day 3. Boom, I was down, and I said, "Could you bring me falafel?" And wow, it was delicious. You
Uh-huh.
know, it was so good. The vegetables and the
Okay.
sauces.
So yeah, they have that nice little garlic sauce
So-
on there. So then you went from
We went
Paris to where?
We flew to Barcelona.
Uh-huh.
And so, because the train ride was like 12 hours. And so, anyway,
Did you go to the Boqueria?
excuse me?
The Bucaria? Bucaria?
Big
Boqueria?
market
Yes,
on-
yes,
on
yeah.
the Rock
We did.
Rush, Yeah.
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 You and 8 million other people.
Boqueteria.
Yeah.
Boqueteria. Yeah. That I had breakfast there the first day or second day. And it was amazing. When we landed in Barcelona, it's a smaller airport, just piece of cake, and boom, you're right into the center. And we stayed right off of the not the Ramblas, but the Camino de whatever, the
Mhm.
busy shopping street that's pretty much all closed off except for cabs and buses. And we stayed at this hotel called Hotel Pratique. Well, we walked in and we're like kind of rattling the door. It's later. It was a bakery. So next to the entrance to the hotel, well, the entrance to the hotel was the cafe, but it was closed, but there was a person there. And so anyway, the Hotel Pratique had amazing food and amazing ham and cheese sandwiches. And nearby were multiple tapas restaurants. And so that's what we ended up doing, was going for snacks. And then in Spain, they eat at 10 o'clock at night.
10
Mhm.
o'clock, absolutely.
And are the tapas different in Seville and that different cities that you went to? Did you find the food different?
Well, we were Barcelona, Seville, and then Malaga.
Mhm.
And Malaga, it was all seafood. A little bit of ham and cheese, but all seafood. Whereas up in Barcelona, it was all meat
Huh.
with some vegetables, some octopus, not much.
And
but
paella?
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. There's a famous place in, but
Paella
I was
is more Madrid, and
yeah.
I mean, you can get paella, and there's
Uh-huh.
a
Well, in Valencia
Yeah.
too, and it was great because the menus listed classic and the Morisco, and then
What's
others.
Morisco?
the fight
seafood.
The fido or is the noodles.
Fideo.
Fideo, yeah.
Fideo, which is a paella made with little broken spaghetti noodles.
Right.
And the other thing that was really big, we passed multiples, was steakhouses. I'll send you the menu, Tom, because the most popular one, it was equivalent to what we would pay for a steak here.
Uh-huh.
Beautiful aged steaks, and we were going to go there one night, but just we were with the kids and
That has changed a bit since over the years, because that was not the case before. I think some of that is U.S. influence and Argentine influence.
yeah. What I found interesting is everywhere you walked, it looked like I was walking amongst Americans, but they were speaking different languages,
Uh-huh.
attire wise.
Yeah.
Which was really interesting. Everybody had on Converse and had on Nikes and had on, puffers. It was fascinating. And so then you'd walk up thinking, oh, listen, an American. No, they were from all over. But the food, I think the best bite I had, I wrote it down here, was they had cuttlefish meatballs. So they ground cuttlefish.
Uh-huh.
The binder was egg whites, and they put in sauteed onions and piquillo, and then they breaded them and deep fried them.
Uh-huh.
Oh man, they were good.
Huh.
With some, basically their sauce there was either a tomato sauce that was zhuzhed up, or it was a mayonnaise that had stuff added to it and zhuzhed up.
Do you
Yeah.
think this is something
I
you'll make
only
here?
like
Huh?
Do you think that'll be something you'll make here now?
Yeah.
New
For sure.
discovery.
And it's interesting because they list calamari, but when you get calamari, I thought of Tom, they were these little teeny 2-inch baby calamari, and oh, they were good.
what about me made you think about them?
Well, because you kept talking about Calpep and all the
Yeah.
nice little tapas.
Did you ever go
and
to Calpep?
It was closed. They closed we were there right after the holidays, and it was they decided to close for that week. But all the Spaniards from around Spain were on the road because it was Christmas.
Right.
Everybody was vacationing, so the streets were
Packed.
packed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Huh, interesting. So then you got down to Seville. Give me your favorite bite out of Malaga.
Oh boy, out
Because
of
you said Seville was not your favorite.
Seville was great. I mean, when you search, like it's great on your phone. When you search best restaurants, you'll end up at Michelin, and the Michelin lists all those gastro places,
Uh-huh.
all those gastro pubs,
Fancy
fancy
Spanish.
food. Yeah, and our cousin, he loves that stuff, and I was like, oh my god. Get me a gun. I'm going to shoot myself in the head if I
Uh-huh.
have one more gastro meal
Uh-huh.
because they're all the foams and the dots and the
Yeah.
little bits. And I went to bed hungry many nights.
Well, that's why your egg toast tasted so good in the morning.
Exactly. But in Seville, I mean, in Malaga, I think the best bite that I had. In Seville, it was the meat sandwiches.
Mhm.
The hams were amazing. But down in Malaga, we had shrimp and ajo, and man, that was good. We got the little tapas bowls with filled plates of clams that they did just pimenton and garlic
Uh-huh.
sautéed with sherry wine, and just like, I had one taste and then dragged the plate over in front of me and like
Uh-huh.
fought people off.
Do they give you a little baguette to dip into the juices?
Yeah, the
Yeah.
bread was stunning. The bread was amazing in Spain. Beautiful displays, like France. I mean, it was amazing. Yeah.
Sounds good. I have a trip coming up this spring, middle
Oh.
of April. I'll be in Sicily
Nice.
and
I'll hook you up.
Portugal, Lisbon, and Bordeaux. Centimilion. and
Oh,
Bordeaux.
interesting.
Yeah. So, good fun. Okay, when we come back, let's go right from Europe to, is ketchup a condiment worth buying or making from scratch? On Cairo Radio, it's the Hot Stove Society Show, 97.3 FM.
A couple of that. We went to this place. It was New Year's Eve, and the restaurants in Barcelona. It was right near our hotel, and we had a couple of kids with us, and they were like, "No, let's just go here." Well, the most famous pizzeria in Spain was a half a block from our hotel, but they closed. It
Aw.
was just like, darn it. So we went to the
Yeah,
place
they have
next
plenty
door.
of business. They can close when they want to close.
Yeah, they
Mhm.
big time. And so anyway, we went next door, and it was awesome. Like you would have had to have folded in half, Tom, to get through the front door.
Oh,
And you step down this step.
I
No,
know
literally,
about
I'm
that.
not
I've been to Kyoto. Yeah.
Yeah, and so anyway, they had pizza, but they used, instead of tomato sauce, they used ketchup as the tomato sauce. And I was like, this
Most
does
famous
not bode
pizzeria
well.
in Spain. That's why pizza didn't originate in Spain.
Right. Naples.
Yeah.
Here we go. Segment 3, hour 1.
We're
Welcome
doing
back.
condiments.
We're doing condiments. Welcome back. I'm Tom Douglas.
I'm Bridget Charters.
Bridget is winding her way down from the high that was Europe,
Uh-huh.
Malaga, Seville, Barcelona, and Paris over 10 days?
2.5 weeks.
2.5 weeks during the busiest time of the year here at the Hut
Someone
Stove.
still sore.
No.
Okay, let's see. Agree or disagree, Becky? What is your
Okay, well, so I read an article about what condiments are worth making and what's worth buying. And I think
Uh-huh.
it's a fun conversation. For example, the first one, ketchup.
Well, where was the article first? So I'll
I
tell
think
you
it
if
was
it was
Food and
interesting.
Wine,
Okay,
or
that's
something
yeah.
like that. And there's a time and a place to make and to buy. And for example, ketchup, I know you're going to say it's ridiculous to make, but I find it really rewarding
uh-huh.
because it's just all
You
spice.
actually make ketchup?
I do. It's just canned
You're
or
a sick woman.
jarred tomato sauce, allspice, and either molasses or honey
Little
or
vinegar.
maple syrup and vinegar, right?
Yeah.
And put that over a meatloaf, and it's just so good. So
So good.
So I think it's worth it. But what would you?
But
ever
how
make?
much did you make, and did you
I-
store it in the fridge and use it successively?
Yeah, because it's just one little jar of tomato paste. So it's super simple.
Uh-huh.
And I know people are kind of religious whether you buy mayonnaise or make it. So I wanted to get your opinion on that.
Oh, okay.
Huh.
Ketchup, I disagree.
Just buy it.
Well, how can you disagree if you've never tried her homemade version?
She didn't bring it in, Tom.
Oh, that's true.
So we can't.
I agree. I disagree.
But there are great brands of ketchup out there, and some kind of Gucci brands. But it's a lot of
Gucci,
work.
Gucci brands.
Yeah.
I'm a Dolce & Gabbana fan myself.
Oh, there you go. Balenciaga.
Okay, so,
Okay, so-
Bridget and I are voting no.
Okay.
Buy ketchup because I mean, 20 years ago there was one brand, that pretty much two brands, Hunt's and Heinz, right?
Right.
Now there's
Everything.
50 brands of ketchup out there. So I would have to go through all of those
Mhm.
before I would sit down and make my own ketchup.
Fair.
A lot of competition.
That's fair.
Okay.
Yeah.
What about mayonnaise?
Absolutely. Make it.
Yeah, I think it depends. For me, it depends on what I'm doing with it.
Right. Okay.
If I'm making an aioli to kind of stir into a boride or something like a
Mhm.
French seafood soup, or I definitely would make it, or
Yeah.
an aioli into a fish stew of
Mhm.
whatever. I think I just said the same thing twice, but I would then make an olive oil based mayo and
Yeah.
delicious and thick and garlicky. And
Well, that's the truth.
but if I'm making a quick tuna salad, I'm not making mayo.
What about crab cake? Not make it.
I have both in my
Okay.
because when you're making a crab cake, you have to make a binder.
Right.
And so sometimes that binder is just an extension of making mayo.
hmm
Other times, like in a classic Chesapeake Bay crab cake, it's a Hellman's, right?
Okay.
Or Best Foods.
Yeah.
Well, and consistency.
That's part of the flavor profile.
Right.
Yeah, there's
Yeah.
consistency too with those commercial mayonnaise. They help to bind.
What do you think about the rise of Duke's? Duke's mayo is kind of
Number
taking
one
over
selling.
the world.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Hmm.
It's just
I'll
it's
have
a
to-
marketing.
Mhm.
I mean, those things
They
are
just
all
put money
marketing
into it.
plans.
Yep.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah. Is it Duke's Hawaii or Duke's here?
It's Duke's here.
Okay.
No, it's
What?
Duke's on the grocery store shelf.
Yeah,
It's-
I've
it's
seen it.
really-
I've seen it. Yeah.
Used to be if what I remember it being is more of a commercial. You buy it in the 5-gallon tub
Mhm.
bucket,
Right. Right.
And now you can see it in the marketplace in the like all the Best Foods and Miracle Whip, all that size container.
Right.
So, and there's avocado mayo out there too, which I
Yes.
think
Which
is
is
pretty,
great.
Well,
pretty
that's what I
darn
like
good.
about making it yourself because you're not doing a canola oil. You can do beautiful oils.
Yeah.
That are.
But you're allergic to eggs,
I do.
Becky.
I
so
am.
do you buy commercial because it's eggless?
Sometimes I have, but our buddy here, Sean McFadden, taught me just use an avocado, a real
An
avocado.
avocado or
A
the,
real avocado
juice from
from-
garbanzo
Oh.
beans.
Yes,
works.
aquafaba works.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh.
exactly. So there's lots of ways to work around it. Mustard is one I disagree because you could buy such beautiful mustards.
Oh my
We've done
God,
Dijon
amazing.
mustard. And I've made it before. I don't think it's worth it.
And when you make it, it literally is just soaked in ground mustard seeds. I
Yeah.
mean, it's not like
Right.
you're
And
getting
isn't it
Yeah.
egg white?
Vinegar and
Not that I
Vinegar and
know
egg
of.
No
white?
egg.
Oh,
Not
no.
that I
egg.
know of.
No?
Yeah.
yeah, but I think there's just so many beautiful mustards. It's not worth
Right.
it.
Right.
Okay.
Compound butter. You got to make it.
Make
Absolutely.
it. Yeah, just because you want your own flavor profile. You see a few of these things like garlic butter or something like that in the refrigerator cases now, but I don't get it.
No, we did a segment on it. And you guys had so many good ideas with all the beautiful herbs. And then
Uh-huh.
freeze it. Freeze it in the little
Right.
logs
Yeah.
and pull
It's
it out
a
when
great
you want
way
it.
to use up all the herbs left over from
Yeah,
maybe a
summer.
dinner party or like Thanksgiving or Christmas. We
Oh,
got
true.
a bunch.
Whiz
Use
it
'em
up. Yeah.
Put them in the butter. Put the butter in the freezer in a small round,
Mm-hmm.
and then you'll be able to cut it off and use when you want it.
And elevates your meal.
Yeah.
Love it.
I wish I had some last night. I was making mushroom ravioli, and I was going out into the wet forest of my house, chopping down rosemary sprigs and thyme branches.
Oh, you were.
And
Yeah.
I was.
That's great. Yeah,
Yeah.
they're still here. Not
And
frozen. yet.
making my own butter. But if I had had a compound butter in my freezer, it was like boom, done.
Yes.
yeah.
Did you look?
I don't ever.
Oh, you don't
compound
store it.
butter, 'cause I
Oh,
just kind
okay.
of make it to order. But that's when I would use it as something like that.
Mm-hmm.
Well, and it's as you say, like now the tarragon's gone out of the garden,
Yeah.
but had you made a compound butter, you'd get all that beautiful flavor.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. What do you think about the chili crisp? I know you've been a fan of chili crisp before people knew about it.
Well, the Loganma is
Yeah.
the classic flavor profile and crunch profile
Mhm.
and heat profile,
Mhm.
which is the one with the red label and the kind of black and white picture of a lady
Yeah.
on the front. But now there's, I mean, it's
So
the
many.
chili crisp craze across the country.
Right.
Yeah, it's crazy.
So is it worth making or buying?
Buying.
Buying.
I
Okay.
mean,
My
yeah,
friend Joan
it's so easy.
Namkoon off of the Big Island makes her own.
Mhm.
She
Is
makes
it
from
good?
she makes it from a Bon Appetit recipe, and it's good. Yeah, I want it crunchier, but it's good.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah. Doug, one of the campers,
Yeah.
has a nice recipe also.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay. What about pickled vegetables?
absolutely.
Which one? Absolutely what?
Tokyo
Scratch
turnip.
or homemade?
Oh, from homemade, absolutely
Okay.
homemade.
And what's
Sorry.
the process?
You make a pickling liquid. It's water, salt, sugar, spices. You create a delicious pickling liquid. You could add vinegars to it if you wanted, but you cook that to melt the salt and sugar.
Uh-huh.
And then you add your vegetables, either pouring it over the vegetables or cooking the vegetables, depending
Pouring
on
it over is what? The quick pickle, right?
Yeah, for
Yeah.
like things that are thin, like onions, shaved red onions, like we do here at Hot Stove, that are great for tacos and such. If you do Tokyo turnips, you want to cook them a little bit,
Mm-hmm.
but there's so many different ways you can go.
Is there any case when you buy pre-pickled vegetables? Because there is for me, like when I'm making
Oh,
muffaletta or
pickles?
something, a classic kind of New Orleans cold cut sandwich, I'll buy a jardinera or I'll buy a
right.
pre-cut mixed. The reason being is that it's got celery and cauliflower and olives and
Mhm.
anchovies and peppers, and I don't want to have to buy
to-
all those ingredients.
Got it.
For me personally, so that's an area where I might buy it
Mhm.
rather than like if I'm just having a smoked salmon plate for an appetizer, I'll quick pickle my own cucumbers
Cucumber, yeah.
Or
yeah.
red onions or whatever. Yeah, I mean, there are things like pepperoncino that you
Mhm.
just can't get a hold of.
Dill
so
pickles.
you buy them.
Yeah.
Yeah, the Grillo dill pickles. Man, those are so good. Have you had those?
I have had them. They go bad before I can get to them though.
Really?
Yeah.
You just have to sit there and watch a show and and just like bust through
Is there
half
a
of that
particular
container.
kind of show that would make me want to eat a quart of pickles. What is that
No,
show?
you don't have to go to Costco.
You know what I've been watching show-wise? West Wing.
Oh,
And I just don't see myself eating a quart of dill pickles while watching the West Wing.
All right. What about teriyaki sauce? I know someone who has.
Oh, yeah.
There's a lot in the marketplace. I would say, including ours, it can be a little sweet.
Uh-huh.
And so depending on what you're making teriyaki out of,
Hmm.
but
Do you make your own, Tom?
teriyaki, I can. I don't. I just use my
You use
jarred
Jarred
version.
jar.
Yeah. Yeah.
Which is good. That's what we have in our fridge.
Yeah.
What about cocktail sauce?
Cocktail sauce.
Cocktail sauce is pretty quick and easy. If you
What is
don't
it?
have it, it's horseradish and ketchup, basically.
I use Heinz chili sauce as my base, and then I move
Ah.
into Chipotle Tabasco and horseradish.
So you use an abbreviated. So he's in
Uh-huh.
between.
What do you guys do at Half Shell? Because that's delicious.
We make a red eye cocktail there
Okay.
for and a green, a tomatillo
Yes.
cocktail sauce
Yeah.
with fresh horseradish, roasted tomatillos.
Uh-huh.
And then we also make a red eye cocktail sauce, which is a version of what I just said, but with ground coffee in it,
Oh,
ground
wow.
espresso beans.
Wow.
It's good. Yeah, it is good. That's a good recipe.
That's really special at Half Shell when you get the platter and there's
Yeah.
all those different condiments and all
Yeah.
those are homemade pickles.
Oh yeah,
Yeah, all that stuff. That's beautiful.
pickled celery.
Okay, here's kind of the obvious one. I think salad dressings and vinaigrettes. Do you ever buy a salad dressing or vinaigrette?
Never.
100%.
Never.
Do
You
you?
always buy?
No. I make sometimes, but I keep a jar of that Cindy's.
Uh-huh.
It's in the refrigerator, and they have a Barcelona vinaigrette and a Greek vinaigrette that I
Really?
think are the bomb. Yeah,
Really?
yeah.
We'll have to check it out. I like Toby's probiotic ranch dressing.
Oh my God,
It's
Marketing.
really
funny
good.
where
really
you
good.
just heckled me for buying a pre-made vinaigrette, and then you're buying.
Just
It's
ranch.
okay for you to buy probiotic ranch dressing.
That's all marketing.
I actually did a vinaigrette as requested,
Uh-huh.
and you did.
No, normally
Nothing's easier to make than ranch dressing
it's true. But
because the store version, in my opinion, is nasty.
So many
Or it's just-
terrible ingredients.
I'll just say it has nothing in it. Like a homemade ranch dressing.
oh, you
is
got to
just
try Toby's.
buttermilk and sour cream, and then all those herbs and lemon zest. And
Well,
Mhm.
fresh is good.
yeah. To me, that's an area where you can really make a difference.
The green goddess that the company makes is delicious.
You know,
But-
the one you skipped right over was sauerkraut.
Salt?
Oh, I did.
Yeah.
Okay, tell me about that.
Because I love sauerkraut.
Yeah, and do you make
and
it?
I'll buy it every time.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay, that's
Yeah, I
good
mean,
tip.
it's pretty stinky to make. I used to make it down at the Art Institute, and
Uh-huh.
we'd make 5
We could
gallons
tell
at a
up the
time.
street when you were making
Oh,
sauerkraut.
yeah, it's smelly for sure.
It's just like kimchi when you're trying to make kimchi.
Oh man, yep.
And people make the mistake of putting it down in their basement. You just cannot flush the smell out of
Okay.
your basement.
Okay, that's 100%
In the
purchase.
garage is a
Garage
much better
is
idea
good,
where you
yeah.
can
Garage.
open
If the door
the
opens,
doors and
yeah.
air
Yeah.
things out a
Yeah.
bit.
Well, that was fun. The final one is pesto, no brainer.
Basil pesto.
Yeah, well, make it, or the Costco one's not bad.
You know, the Costco one is the original Chibo. CIBO was a local
Oh,
company
is
here
it?
in town. My friend used to own it, and
Oh.
Costco bought it. So
Costco bought the.
Yeah.
The recipe.
Well, if you go down to Big John's PFI, you can get the big tubs of Armanino pesto. Those are friends of mine from San Francisco, and it's even better than the Costco one.
okay, there you go. There's an inside tip.
But
I'm not
making
sure
pesto,
I believe you, but
I make it and freeze it.
all right. Extraordinary, all the way back to ordinary. We're going to talk lasagna when we come back, and we have a guest, I believe, that thinks
She's
she
going to
makes
hop
the
on and
best
talk about it.
lasagna right here on the Hot Stove Society Show, 97.3 FM. All right, Missy, let's go. Who else said on there they make their best? Who else owns lasagna? You don't want to come up? You want to come up to a mic? Yeah. All right, come on up.
And- Two.
He is. Okay. Who is it? Oh, okay.
Yeah, have a seat.
Have a seat. You're going to have to give up your chair, or Bridget does.
So you just want to talk really close to the mic, and there you go.
Becky, you can share my mic because I don't want you to get sick from Brigitte.
And then you just pull it right up to you. Yeah.
All the way up.
Okay.
Practice with me.
Okay.
Listen to me. Listen to me. Hear the difference?
Oh, okay.
In one,
Can
you are
hear me?
God. And
So
the other,
is
you're
this-
just a little peon out in the
So
audience.
this is good right here.
Right
Perfect.
on there. Yeah.
Half an
Same
inch.
thing. You have to turn it
Okay.
to you. Nico. Bring it all the way to him so he doesn't have to lean over. There you go. And then just talk to the mic. Don't ever talk to
Hi.
me or to Bridget. Just talk
Is
to
this
the mic.
all okay?
All okay.
Yeah.
Very good.
Yeah. Hmm.
Becky, can you get us names, please? And what do you?
Madhu.
Nadu?
Elizabeth.
Madhu and Elizabeth. Great. Home cooks. Oh, sorry.
MADU?
MADHU.
Right.
Perfect. And we're back.
We're almost back on time. Have I mentioned what these are for?
Yeah, what time's your flight?
2:15.
Oh, no rush.
No rush.
Big Island.
Big island of Hawaii. I had to think about it for a second.
I've never seen you brag this much.
4D. D as in Douglas. What am I having for lunch? Meatloaf. I had a choice of meatloaf or I can't remember. Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
You did chicken teriyaki when you did the Alaska food, right?
I did the chicken, the Tanaka-san chicken.
Ah,
You did katsu cod at one point, right?
Yeah. Katsu cod works well on the airplane, but nobody ordered it.
I saw a lot of black cod in Spain.
Did you?
Yeah.
For
was
good
the
reason. It's
fish.
delicious.
Yeah.
All right, here we are. We're back here in the kitchen on Cairo
Okay.
Radio. It's an exciting time right now, Bridget.
Yep.
It's exciting. We're at the beautiful Hotel Andra down Seattle. Come see us sometime. But we have some guests here from our audience that believe they own the dish called lasagna.
Wow. That is
And,
a big.
I'll just preface this. How do you feel about lasagna?
I love it.
You love lasagna.
And I make a badass lasagna.
Well, see, so you're like these two. You're like Elizabeth and Madhu that think you make the best lasagna. And my experience has been that people who think they make the best lasagna really are just kind of clouded by dreams that they can't break out of. It's like
I actually did it
It's like an airplane going
professionally.
through the clouds, and then finally you have a good one, and you think, "Oh, mine really sucked after all."
Oh my God.
So, Bridget, we're going to start with you so that Elizabeth and Madhu understand this topic. Why do you think your lasagna is best? Because the only lasagna I ever order in a restaurant is at the Pink Door. The lasagna verde with the spinach noodles, the bolognese, and the
I haven't had
bechamel.
that.
Yeah, it's the only. I've been ordering it for 40 plus years
Wow.
when I go there. So,
That's
but
a good-
you can never get in, so I don't go there very often.
Oh, got it.
So,
Tour
what
spot.
makes your lasagna? When your eyes rolled back in your head when you said it,
You know, it's all the layers of pasta. So it's handmade pasta. You can't cheat it. You can't buy noodles. You have to
ooh,
Make
Elizabeth
your
and
own.
Nadu are a little concerned already.
Yeah.
you have to make your own lasagna, and you have to roll it to the thinnest setting
Uh-huh.
and quickly blanch those and be ready to build, which means making your lasagna with the bolognese sauce,
Uh-huh.
the classic meat sauce. So you need to start that the day before. All your fine little minced vegetables, veal, pork, and beef,
Uh-huh.
rosemary, sage, thyme, bottle of red wine,
Mhm.
all cooked down with
Any greens at the end of the day when you're layering?
well, if I do a vegetable lasagna, then yes, I
Okay.
love shaving zucchini or other
See, here's
vegetables.
where we go sideways in my world. Yeah.
Yeah, so I like to do zucchini and spinach, and I'll do a really nice ricotta.
Uh-huh.
In Italy, when they make lasagna, either they make the pan style that we associate with the bolognese, which
Uh-huh.
is
Do they
Bologn-
really make lasagna in Italy?
yeah,
Really?
We made it up north at the restaurant, but it was squares of pasta, 4-inch squares of pasta that were blanched lightly, and we made a bechamel and either used a pesto or a tomato sauce.
The only lasagna I feel like we ever made in our restaurant group that was worth its salt was
Cuoco.
Stuart at
Oh,
Cuoco
yeah,
before he went up to
spinace.
Spinace.
And Artuse,
He
yeah.
made a 8-layer bolognese lasagna, and it was literally just that bolognese and noodle, cheese, bolognese, and it was death in a lasagna pan. I mean, it was
You
so
just have
rich,
a
it's
smaller
incredible.
piece, Tom.
I asked him to put some tomato sauce with it, and you would have thought that I sinned against the Lord Jesus Christ
no.
Almighty.
You know, when you're down in Sicily on your next trip, you'll have to get lasagna down in Sicily.
I don't
'cause
believe
it's
they have
quite the-
lasagna in Italy. Okay, Elizabeth, it's your turn.
I do not.
I asked people to raise their hand in the audience who feels like they own lasagna, and you put your hand up right away.
I know I did, but I do not make my own pasta.
That's okay.
I don't.
Don't let her shame you.
But
You stand tall.
Just saying that I don't do
Yeah.
that. But
Do you have a favorite noodle brand?
no, I do. I usually do 2 pans because I try to be gluten free, and my
Uh-huh.
family and most people don't. So
You're so kind to not force them into that scenario.
yeah, so I usually do 2 pans, and the tomato sauce is wine.
Uh-huh.
Red wine. It's a mixture of like I usually try to be fairly healthy, so I'll use a turkey,
Oh my God, we're going sideways already.
ground turkey, but then
We're gluten free and we're turkey.
well, so
Don't let him give you a hard time. Keep talking.
I do the ground turkey and then veal. I do ground veal, ground.
Coming back to center. That's good.
Yeah, well,
Yeah.
I do. Yeah, and some kind of
Pork sausage.
some
Yeah.
kind of sausage.
And it's yours tomato based?
It is tomato based, and I stew my own tomatoes with garlic
Uh-huh.
and basil and
Yum. Do you put cheese in?
yeah.
What kind of cheese?
Ricotta, Parmesan, sometimes goat because I like goat
Uh-huh.
cheese.
Nice.
Depends.
Sounds
I mean,
Sicilian.
that
but
adds a little.
my family's not as big a
Southern
goat. So,
Italian.
yeah, my husband's half Italian.
Awesome.
And then what else do I do? Spinach. I
Do you
definitely
do
do spinach.
bechamel? You put spinach in a layer. Do you do bechamel
Down
at all?
south, they
Sometimes.
don't. Oh, you do?
Sometimes.
I
Oh.
sometimes I just and definitely always ricotta, always Parmesan, and then and mozzarella, and then sometimes bechamel, sometimes goat, sometimes.
Okay, so
Kinda-
here's at the end of the day, here's the real test about the quality of your lasagna. Do people want to take home leftovers?
Absolutely.
Oh, there we
Absolutely.
go.
And I make it a lot of times for other, they've had a baby, gone through surgery,
Uh-huh.
whatever, and they're always asking me for my recipe. So,
Really?
always.
That is
Always.
And the
good.
pan comes back empty and cleaned.
Always. Yeah.
Always. All
So-
right. Okay, Madhu, your turn. You make lasagna and you love to stick right into that mic there. No, right there is good.
Oh, okay.
So you raised your hand to say that you own lasagna also.
Yeah.
Would you eat Bridget's lasagna the way she described it?
Absolutely.
You would.
Yeah.
Boy,
I make mine like Stuart. It's rich.
that's rich.
Okay,
Yeah.
Madhu,
Okay.
what's in your lasagna?
Okay, so it's actually a vegetarian lasagna,
Sweet.
and I'm not vegetarian, so it's like a big deal for me that one of my favorite things to make is a vegetarian lasagna.
That is crazy.
Yeah, and so I kind of learned how to make it because one of the I worked at a gastro pub, and they had something called a celeriac Wellington,
Mm-hmm.
and so when we had leftover celeriac, the chef told me a bit to use it in my vegetarian lasagna.
Did you
So-
use it as the noodle or did you use it as a filling?
Filling.
Filling.
So
okay.
like chopped up with mushrooms, spinach,
Uh-huh.
celeriac, and goat's cheese, ricotta, bechamel. So and it's just like a collection of just whatever vegetables I have, but
Right.
usually green, any sort of greens. And I like to use the stems of the broccoli as well, cut those up really fine, and like really absorb the sauce into it.
Do they soften or does that give you a little bite in your
I like them to be as soft as I can get them.
Okay, uh-huh.
So that's basically it. But I think it's just
Now wait a second. Wait.
Really
We haven't
good.
talked noodles yet.
oh, I
Bridget
don't-
said you're a chump if you
Pasta.
don't make your own pasta. How do you feel about
I'm a
that?
chump.
So what do you have a brand that you like?
I do. It's I actually don't know what it's called because I just it's in the UK. It's like a black box, and I don't know what it's called because I bought it all my life. I don't
Okay.
even look at the label.
Are,
I
but
see.
are they those kind of 6-inch by 4-inch squares, or are they
the
long?
boxes? Yeah,
Yeah.
they come in cardboard
Yeah,
boxes.
kind of like
yeah.
Barilla a little bit.
Yeah.
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 Those sheets. And do you par cook your sheets, or do you put them in raw?
I like to soak them in hot water for a tiny bit, not
Oh,
too
very
long.
So you don't cook them, you soak them.
Interesting.
I've never done that. I've always been curious about the ones that say no cook.
Yeah, you
Sheets.
just put them in, but you've got to make sure that there's enough moisture to make
You have to have a wet and you use tomato sauce. Oh,
No,
No,
it's
no.
not.
just
It's
bechamel
all-
and
cream
veg.
sauce.
Yeah,
Wow.
cream
all-
sauce.
it's like a completely white lasagna.
Uh-huh.
Oh, that sounds nice.
Yeah.
Gastropub too. There we go.
Yeah.
And how does the pan come back when you share it with? Do people take leftovers?
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
But no, I tend to not offer them because I want the leftovers. I'm like,
I love that.
kind of-
That's so
kind of
funny.
make it, cut half, put the other half out.
Uh-huh.
Half goes in the freezer.
And what about if like people are still hungry? Do you?
Oh,
Because I had a friend who would make dinner and she would be so mad if I had a second helping because that was her lunch tomorrow.
Oh, you can't
Yeah.
do that. You got to.
Oh, she did it every time.
Oh man.
Debbie, you know who you are.
I like to go like really overboard on the sides. I make a really good garlic bread,
Uh-huh.
some vegetables on the side. People will be full.
Sounds delicious.
Well, and I made it with my son recently, and he was like, "Well, I want some for tomorrow," and I go, "You're inviting guests over. You have to assume it's going to disappear. You got to make a second pan."
uh-huh. And
That's what he did. He made a little
maybe that's why I
brownie
moved to
size
New
pan.
Orleans because you're so bossy.
I'm sure.
That's so funny. Well, yeah. Anyway, thank you both for sharing your lasagna story. That's super fun. Next time you come to the show, you have to bring a pan.
Oh,
So we'll be the
bingo.
judge.
I'll do
Yeah,
that.
Okay.
That'd be
We'll
great.
the judge.
Okay.
And the whole audience would like a bite. Is that true? Yeah. Everyone says it sounds good and delicious. So get your act together and get us some lasagna. As I said, we don't make our Cuoco lasagna anymore, but the one at the Pink Door I think is lovely. And then the one at the Cafe Lago is nice too. So.
We used to have a
It's just not
make and
something I
take
order.
lasagna, but it was a lot of work.
Yeah,
it's a
it
lot
is.
of work.
It's a lot of work.
Okay, when we come back, it is time to talk to Chef Sean McFadden, the back of the house
Yeah,
manager here at the
NOLA.
Hot Stove Society Show, 97.3 FM. Thank you, guys. That was charming.
Yeah,
Feel
thanks.
free after the show to walk through our gift shop and pick up a jar of Rub on Me. Well, not Rub on Me, but
Has that come out before?
here I am. You have tickets left before we do this?
We're at about 18, 20 people, so
so
we
you
do
have
have
tickets,
tickets. Yeah, if they want to still sign up.
I think you had 7 left, something like that.
Okay, yeah, that sounds right.
I was trying to get my hair cut before I left, and
That was great.
yeah.
Hey, Hey, you have it. My boys don't.
Even your boys?
Yeah, my son, we went a little bit. He just went a little bit. He just shaved it.
Yeah.
I'm like,
Following dad's footsteps.
yeah. Said it's easy. Just turned 30 years old.
You're old.
I know.
Your son did?
Yeah.
That's kind of like
no
Julie.
grandbabies yet?
No, they year or two.
That's like Julie
If it works
becoming
out.
a grandmother.
Yeah.
Julie's a grandmother.
I know. I've seen pictures of the little girl. She's a darling. Can't,
I mean, Julie's like 15.
Spiritually.
I was just talking to somebody, an old cook friend of mine from Bainbridge Island in 1978.
Who's that, Craig?
Wished me, you don't know him, wished me happy Thanksgiving, blah, blah, blah. I said, everything's great, but running around after 3 grandkids. So he says, oh, you think that's bad? I have 2 great grandchildren.
oh, geez.
This is a guy I cooked with
Wow.
who's younger than me.
Wow.
Great.
That's exciting, but it doesn't.
He got busy.
Yeah. It's also a guy, he was a good friend, and he was dating a young woman at the restaurant that we were both working at. And she got killed in a car crash. They were out driving around in a convertible and ran into a tree.
Oh my God.
Yikes.
Deanna,
That's terrible.
my first real thing that I remember, like tragic like that.
Wow.
She was such a sweetie. La Spiga? God, I haven't
Yeah.
eaten there in quite a long time. Yeah.
So does Cafe Lago. I love there.
Yeah.
Probably mentioned that.
Okay, you ready? Hour number
We're
2.
back.
You're all in. Have you guys met Taylor yet? She's taking social pictures. And there is the mother of my 3 grandchildren, right
Loretta
there.
Douglas.
Loretta Douglas.
Busy mom. Busy mom. Oh, she's
I
stealing
don't
your
wanna talk
muffin.
about
Here, Loretta, you can have my muffin.
She's been breathing on it.
I have not been breathing. Look at how far across the board it is.
Set up the partitions. We need a little.
I'm not
We need a little
contagious
partition for
anymore.
Bridget.
The National Institute of
Have you
Health
ever heard of a
said,
face mask?
I wore it on the plane.
Welcome back to the hour number 2 of the Hot Stove. Joined at the mic. More back into the back of the house here at the Hot Show anymore. Sean.
Yeah, I'm doing some lead work. So kind of helping lead on some of the classes. And yeah, there's usually Thursday, for whatever reason, ends up being a really big day. So
Yeah.
I've been able to help out with some
How
of the
are your
nighttime
minions
stuff.
doing?
They're doing great.
Really?
I'm really proud. I mean,
Technically,
yeah.
you've taught everyone how to do this.
Yeah, just honestly, like, yeah, picked it up without, there's kind of a
Well,
lot to grasp, but for what it is, I couldn't
But
be
it's
happier.
that age group. They grew
Yeah.
up with this stuff.
I got the wind that Cameron likes that kind of creative,
Uh-huh.
artistic stuff, and processes. Cooking's no different. It's a process, and
Yeah.
he's good at picking up that process. So
Cool.
it's great transition.
Well, in this hour, we're going to talk to you, Sean. We're going to talk Pozole a little
Hey,
bit.
hey.
I asked the question early on in the show
I love Pozole.
if it's unreasonable for me to think that I make a better Pozole than somebody
Totally
I don't think
unreasonable.
that's unreasonable.
Mexico.
I think
from we want different things.
I think we got to Carmen on the show.
Oh, she
Oh
is
my
so
God.
feisty.
There you go.
She's
So not.
She hates mine. She says mine's stew. It's not Pozole, she said. I said,
well, because
it's gotta be
a lot
brothy,
thinner
right?
than what I, even
Than
when
what I want it to
would
be,
make it
yeah.
in restaurants. It's
well,
kind
we're
of
going to
like-
talk a little bit about that.
Yeah.
We're going to start the year off right with a pantry refresh. Do you have some thoughts on that?
I do.
Which is,
I've been having fun cleaning out. Before I bring more in, I want to start cleaning through. I want to empty my freezer. And
empty your freezer is one thing, but
Not empty, but I mean,
have you gone
work
through
through.
the drawers and looked at pull dates on things?
I know we're going to talk about spices, aren't we?
No, but
Yeah.
I'm just saying, like this when I was at the farm, I reached in the fridge, I was making a stir fry, and I just picked up the fish sauce and used it.
And it was
That's okay.
It ruined my dish.
How
It's
old
just a
was
simple little 7 years old.
it? Oh,
Mm.
well, that's problematic.
Yeah. So if you're not careful and you're just not watching or whatever,
Yeah.
it was horrible.
ruined
Horrible.
meal.
That is a
Metallic
big
and
word.
gross, and Jackie threw it away. She went spit it out, and I just ate the whole thing. But yeah, afterwards we were trying to
Didn't
figure
know
out
that. I thought
we were trying to
fish-
figure out what it was that was
Oh.
making the whole thing bad. So we tasted all the different ingredients that we had used, and
it was the fish
it
sauce.
was the fish sauce.
Mhm.
Okay, Sean, tell us about what you got coming up. There's no real fish sauce in New Orleans style cooking.
Not really, no, but there is a lot of fish. There's a lot of seafood. We are doing a NOLA brunch. So we're kind
A
of going to,
NOLA brunch, like a New
Yeah.
Orleans brunch.
yeah.
Uh-huh.
We're going to explore a few things. You know, we've done eggs Benedict here, so we're going to go a little bit away from that and do
You know,
an
that's that class always sells out.
It
That
does.
eggs, but people
Right.
are fascinated with
yeah.
eggs Benedict.
And so we thought we would kind of expand on that. Danae is doing an eggs Benedict specifically class, but we thought we would go with an egg sardu, which is similar components. We're going to do a hollandaise for that and nice grilled asparagus. You could probably do, you know, broccolini if you wanted to. It's kind of just a good excuse to cover stuff with hollandaise sauce, really. And I don't think we just need a term for it. So when you
How does your
do it-
girlfriend feel about that?
Oh, she
Being
loves it.
covered with hollandaise sauce.
Well,
Oh,
well, are we
man.
still talking about? No, yeah, no. She's actually from the South, and she knows quite a bit about it. And we met at a biscuit class. So
Really?
Oh, nice.
yeah, and to that effect, we're doing a little biscuit for their welcome taste because I've gotten tasked with being kind of the biscuit guy. I learned, kind of perfected my biscuits at Seatown when I covered for a summer there. And so, like, if you've never been to downtown Seattle, Seatown is just bustling.
Yep.
Uh-huh.
Super busy. So I picked up, before I worked here, while there. And yeah, I would make biscuits every day because you
Wow.
have to make
Sean's
That's
them
how
every
you get
day.
biscuits
good.
are darn good. I gotta
All right.
say,
All right. Don't build it. Don't
the cheesy
put too much
biscuits.
pressure on it.
So
But
good.
what
Okay, so we've got eggs. What else do we have in class?
We've got we're gonna do shrimp and grits. Just because don't think we've done that for a while, and I really I think people have sometimes an aversion to polenta or grits as like being the more southern version of like a nice
Right.
polenta. But I've got a certain cheesy grit, and I think many of you probably had that too, where it's just such a good. It has that same like.
Creaminess.
Yeah,
It's so
almost as
good.
like a really good mashed potato or something, or just that hearty creaminess
with all the juice.
yeah,
from the
and
shrimp.
like the shrimp, and you really want to make that spicy. So right now, my big question is how spicy, because I think when you get it in New Orleans, it's just
You can make it
it's-
spicy.
It's sweaty.
What's a
sweaty,
tip
spicy.
on making cheesy grits?
Well, I would say cook your grits in one part. Gosh, we did 1 part water, 1 part chicken stock, 1 part cream instead of just water. And we would cook our grits in that for probably close to an
Wow.
hour until they're just really creamy, smooth, almost like a mashed potato. It's going to be a little bit heavier and denser.
Mhm.
And then we fold in some sort of kind of hard cheese, an Emmental, pecorino, Parmesan, something like that,
Mm.
just to kind of fluff that up and give it that cheesy kind of string, almost like
salty.
you know,
Yeah.
it almost becomes like a cheese itself in a way.
Do you use it?
With-
Yeah.
It does stiffen up.
yeah, and it gets
Yeah.
that gooey, cheesy texture. And then a little of your choice hot sauce. I like Crystal hot sauce for kind of southern cooking because it's just that base vinegar and spice from the peppers and really nothing else. Because
Okay.
we
And it's
cook
not
like
super
that.
crazy hot either.
Yeah, and
No.
it gives you that little
Little bit
you
of
know,
heat.
Yeah, exactly. And we don't, as cooks, we're kind of getting those other background flavors from other places. So we don't. It's like why you wouldn't get salted butter. It's like
Right.
we're gonna add salt. So it's like I just want hot sauce. And that's
Now,
kinda,
what kind of grits do you buy?
I go with the yellow corn.
Just
grits. I
an
mean,
American
yeah.
cornmeal.
Yeah, just
Well,
Well, there's a
kind
couple
of-
different kind of. On New Year's Eve here, we did a Memphis dinner, and we used the palmetto grits, and they come in a cloth bag and
Right.
delicious.
Anson's
yeah.
good too, right?
Yeah, Anson Mills
Yeah.
is good. Yeah.
Nice. I think. I mean, yeah, we could go with a fancy grit.
People want to pull the grits off the stove before they're really done. You kind of want to put them on low and slow and just let them cook away.
Just keep adding
Totally.
liquid, right?
They
totally.
eat up a lot of liquid. It's
They
almost
do.
between 4 and 5 cups of liquid to 1 cup of grits by the
Yum.
time you're all
yeah,
done.
and
Yeah.
ironically, you don't want them to be gritty. You want to get rid of all that.
Well, now
grit,
that's
so-
the choice, isn't it? Yeah, because
I guess so.
you can
Yeah,
take
yeah,
it to
absolutely.
you can take it to a point where they're not completely mush, where they still have a little bite. But unlike polenta, they are gritty. They're cut, they're stone ground in a way that
Yeah,
points. I mean, they're minuscule, but they do have
Right.
points on them.
totally. And your teeth will know.
Yeah,
Those
you'll
little
you'll feel that, and you can either
microtexture.
take it all the way to soft by adding more and
Totally.
more moisture, or you could give them,
Yeah,
let
just
them
a little
have
tooth.
a little bite.
Do you have to
Yeah,
stir them
totally.
as much as a risotto?
Um,
Or are they a little bit?
I would say yes, but it's not. You don't have to be as attentive. I think
Okay.
a risotto, you need to be a little bit like
You
closer
stay
there because
on
you can
it, yeah.
scorch a little easier. These are still kind of a scorch risk. So for me, I do like a rubber spatula,
Okay.
or even I know everybody loves the wooden spoon just because it's like a
Yeah.
I like that
Feel to
flat
it.
edge wooden spoon for
Yeah.
that because you can scrape
that's
the bottom really
totally.
nice.
And
Yeah.
spatula sometimes, if you're working a big batch, doesn't have the leverage because it wants
Yeah.
to bend. But yeah, totally something where you can scrape the bottom. Just kind of keep it moving every 5 to 10 minutes
Okay.
on a really low heat. If you're on high heat, you want to be kind of closer to it and
And
more
now,
attentive.
is this class hands-on?
It is.
Oh, so what are
it'll be-
people going to be making hands-on for this class?
They're going to be making, I believe, the shrimp and grits and everything. Yeah,
And
yeah.
perfectly
bit of-
fried eggs.
And perfectly fried eggs.
What does that
So,
mean?
Well, we're going to teach them how to get the perfect ovaries, whatever they want to cook to order. So they're depending on what they'd like to cook. We'll check that out. But yeah, I was a brunch cook for several years, and there's just a few do's and don'ts with getting that perfect egg.
Mhm.
And it was just kind of become second nature. So sometimes I forget to like tell people,
Right.
hey, you don't need a ripping hot pan if you just want an over easy, or if you're doing a sunny side up, start out with a cold pan, let it come up to heat. And it depends. Sometimes I've worked places where they don't want to see any brown on the egg. So is that perfect?
Isn't that the craziest thing? That
yeah,
is so
and I
true.
know
Yeah, my friend
because-
Steven, who taught me how to cook, no brown. Brown belongs on your shoes and your shorts, is what he would say to me, and no brown on
I haven't
your
heard that.
eggs.
Oh.
And,
And you went the opposite direction.
and
and
I
that's-
like a little crispy
Me
edge,
too.
like bacon fat edge.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
And it's like there's no real wrong or right reason, but it's just how do you want to get what the desired result is. So
You
the
got a
cast
little
iron-
French down there in New Orleans, and you got a little Southern Cajun. So you probably get a little
Right,
of both,
that-
right?
total
We're
that fusion
celebrating
French and-
Carnival, right? Don't you have another New Orleans class after that?
Yeah. We're
You
all-
know, we used to be when we would have a class like that, or when Loretta was young and teaching her how to do the flip in the saute pan.
yeah.
Eggs were a nickel a piece. Now eggs are a buck a piece.
Oh,
And
that's
so,
right. Yeah.
That's a good point.
It's amazing the difference.
What I learned is like to take a piece of toast and just
Uh-huh.
use a piece of toast to practice.
Okay.
Oh, that's a great
Save
idea.
your eggs. But eventually you're going to want to cook eggs. So
Yeah.
That's a great idea.
and yeah, that little flip trick, we all need to learn it. Not
Right.
that you always. It's the most overused thing, but that little lip of the pan that helps to flip your things.
Yeah.
I'm surprised how many people are just like in awe when we do it in class and like, wow.
And the real trick on
It's
that is
true.
to lean your pan forward so that the egg kind of gets into the
Slides
cup,
forward.
cup of the edge,
Yeah,
and then just pull back a little bit. And
Totally.
everyone wants to pull back too hard.
totally.
It's a gentle.
Or, yeah, it's just kind of like how a
Gentle.
skateboard ramp. You're kind of going up that ramp,
like
and
Right.
that's
a
the leverage. you're
skateboard
getting.
ramp, Sean? Really?
For our younger,
I have no clue what you're speaking of.
our younger crowd, maybe.
Yeah.
But,
Sean, where did you get your Creole and Cajun experience?
I cooked for off and on various places, but about 2 years at Toulouse Petite. Toulouse Petite, and we were an extraordinarily busy restaurant at that time. We had a
It's
$5
crazy.
happy hour menu for brunch, and we
Uh-huh.
were just getting hundreds of covers per shift. So it really, because I didn't really have necessarily a direction, but the French Creole thing has all that French kind of tied into it.
Uh-huh.
And that gave me exposure to a lot of French cooking, which is sort of the structure or backbone for a lot of our cooking, or a lot of our
Yeah.
Western cooking anyway. So that kind of like opened up a bigger sort of, gave me insight into the algorithm of how, the balance of food, and, we need
algorithm,
fat
I
and
love that.
acid and pepper, and we need to balance flavor, and just give me a broader perspective. So I kind of, followed that. But then after that, I started working at Dahlia, and then there's just such a vast breadth of food knowledge there that,
Yeah.
I just started absorbing more of the Pacific Northwest kind of thing, all the Asian influences. And I mean, yeah.
Well, how many jobs have you had? You've been here 13 years. How many different jobs have you had within our company? It seems like a million.
Well, yeah, and I started out doing brunch in the bakery sandwiches, and then worked to PM grill cook, and then yeah,
Crazy.
and various
Well,
things for
your class day is
February 1st.
February 1st, hands-on brunch class. And we'll be doing many of the things that you just talked about.
indeed.
So if you want to come sign up at hotstovesociety.com and join Sean for a little celebration
Absolutely,
of
yeah.
brunch. You know, I
Sounds
might be
good.
on a plane that day too. I'm not sure, or I would come and hang out with you.
Dude, we love it when you stop by.
Coming up, celebrating National Soup Month with Pozole on Cairo
Delicious.
Radio 97.3 FM.
Did you want him to stay on Pistole? Or because I heard you? No, no. Okay,
He's welcome to.
gotcha.
You got to heat it up, Tom.
How was your breakfast? All good? Glad to hear that.
Do you have a good egg casserole for breakfast? My book club is an overnight book club Saturday morning. I have to make something.
Jackie
Well-
Strata. Jackie Strata is good.
It's a bread pudding. Okay. But for egg casserole, we
No, but you can add extra eggs to that. Whisk eggs in and layer them in.
you don't add extra eggs to Jackie's
They're so
strata.
good though with some extra eggs.
You simply make the strata according to the recipe. It's fantastic.
And there are eggs in the custard.
Yeah. There's not extra eggs in the custard.
So good.
I've been to Tokyo. Not that I remember. Oddly enough, we wanted Japanese food. Ah, right.
And the number one spot has like 80 levels of beetle scarcity availability.
Oh.
The bomb.
Good.
Well, after 10 days of Japanese food,
Yeah, you're ready.
really want to
Pizza.
Hey, Jack. These young ladies are interested in your strata. Do you have any tips or tricks for them?
Young ladies.
I would also listen to this because,
Follow that recipe.
and it works really beautifully to make it the night before and let it sit in the fridge. And then when you get up in the morning, you pop it in the oven at 350 for an hour and 15. And
No, it needs to sit or else it doesn't cook.
To soak up the.
Yeah.
did you hear that? It needs to sit. Yes.
Overnight.
Because we use real country bread, not a cheap loaf, real sturdy country bread.
When I'm at the market, what do I look for? What do I look for?
Like if you're at say the Ballard Market, like one of the grocery stores, look for Grand Central's Como loaf. Just a classic kind of.
And it's
Hearty
not,
bread.
it's not too hard.
Yeah.
It's a little bit softer.
And I personally like more crust than she does in it because I like the crunchy crust. And you cut off
I cut
3/4
off
of.
just because it can be a little bit
chewy.
chewy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's just a texture thing.
But if I was going to make a change, that's the only thing I would change. And it has to bubble in the center. You almost have to break the cream. And it looks really fatty, and it is. No. And you won't even have to eat for the rest of the day. Okay, it's National Soup Month here at the Hot
All right.
Stove Society. And we are talking soup. And when I was doing my evening shot this last week, I made a lamb meatball soup, a
Ooh.
kind of a classic wedding ball soup.
And that's what you make here at Lola, right?
We make it at Lola. I
Yeah,
make a version
I heard
of
Loretta
it. Yeah,
talking about that.
yeah, it's
That's
so delicious. But it is soup month for good reason around here.
It's cold.
It's cold. It's rainy. It's wet. It is what Seattle is meant to be. It's why
Sure.
we're so beautifully green, and we don't generally have water issues.
And we're snowing in the mountains.
And we're snowing
we
in the
need it.
mountains because you can ski.
Yeah.
You have a little castle up in the mountains.
It's cozy.
It's cozy. How many bedrooms?
Four.
Yeah, it's a castle. You can't deny it. It's a castle.
Ski cabin.
And where it's not Snoqualmie. It's
Alpental.
5 bedrooms. Alpental.
Alpental.
It's a big castle. It's a cozy castle. Let's talk soup. Do
Yes,
you have a
please.
favorite soup?
I love soup. So, I mean, I classic one, winter is just tons of vegetables, lentil, and then sausage.
Uh-huh.
I love that.
Oh,
It
that sounds
freezes
good.
well. You can put a lot of accoutrements on top if you'd like, avocado and but I'm a sucker for soup. Love it.
Soup is good.
Soup is good.
I've never made pozole though, so I'm excited to
What?
learn about that.
Well, that's the soup I was going to talk about today was pozole for myself. What about you? What's your favorite soup?
You know, I do love a pozole.
Uh-huh.
I really do. I mean, I love making minestrone, but lately I've been making
What do you love about making minestrone other than it cleans out your vegetable drawer in the fridge?
it's all the vegetables, and it's so great because you can you add white beans and you can hold it. So I pack a bunch of different tubs.
What do you mean you can hold it?
Well,
Because to me, it's only good the first hour that it's cooked.
you
'Cause
haven't had
the veggies
good minestrone.
the veggies get all funky if you freeze them. Yeah. So tell me, please
so
enlighten me.
So it is amazing and delicious. Like you cook up a big pot of minestrone and just plan on serving it all.
Right.
Which in that case, you can cook the pasta in the soup to doneness and serve it immediately, assuming it's all going to disappear.
Uh-huh.
Same with rice. I like making my minestrone with rice.
Uh-huh.
But if you make the base and undercook the vegetables and pull some of it with the stock and everything and put it in the refrigerator or freezer,
Uh-huh.
it holds great. And then you reheat it and add your pasta and rice, which is delicious because it doesn't get overcooked. But you
Uh-huh.
gotta gauge everything, and then you save enough of it for dinner that night.
To me, here's what my only disagreement with you is I would just make the beautiful chicken stock with the parm rinds and all that stuff that makes minestrone great, and freeze that. Because to me, it is best served when the veggies are perfectly cooked.
Perfect.
Just 10 minutes in the simmering broth, not boiling broth, simmering broth, and you just put it all together. And so to me, it's not a pantry soup. What I'll say. I think of my freezer as a pantry.
Got it.
But
You mean like a
like
butternut?
a beef barley soup
Got it.
is delicious, hearty, holds up to freezing,
Right.
holds up to reheating, which is a big deal. When you're
Right.
trying to reheat from frozen, it can take 30, 40 minutes on the burner, which in a minestrone, to me, your veggies are gone.
They're overcooked.
They're gone. So
Well, and
that
I'm-
was my argument.
Well, and I'm not talking 1970s kind of greasy red minestrone.
Why not?
Because I don't. It's nah.
You
I
told
like-
us earlier about your 1970s
mine has
lasagna.
leeks in it. Mine has celeriac in it. Mine has
Uh-huh.
carrots, onion, celery. It's got zucchini. It's got kale. It's
Okay.
mostly vegetables. It's delicious. I'll bring you some.
No, I believe that it's delicious. I just believe it's a soup that's best 15 minutes after you make it. So, pozole, let's talk about that.
I love pozole.
So I led off the show with the question, is it reasonable for me, a big round white non-Mexican person, to think that I make a better pozole than my pal Carmen, who is a
Authentic.
Latino awesome woman who makes the best tortillas in the world. But our idea of pozole is very different.
But where's Carmen from?
Somewhere mid central Mexico, I believe. Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's a fair question.
Like
is what-
Michoacan or
yeah,
north of
it's
Mexico
a fair question
City.
about what area of pozole you're
Right.
talking
It's,
about.
yeah.
We can't hear you.
Shit is a white pozole is what Jackie said.
The last pozole I had was a tomato-based pozole from her. So, anyway, my point was, like menudo or like carnitas or whatever, I want a certain greasy quality to that soup. I want a little float of pork fat on top, and it grosses her out. And I just think it's the bomb. And so there's this question: is it
But that's-
just two different soups?
But that's more
She called
Nortena.
mine a stew. Of course, Jackie called mine a stew too.
Why?
But
Because it's full of meat?
it's got lots of stuff in it,
No,
but
it's
it's not. It's not a stew. It's chunky.
Right. But it's supposed to be brothy
Yeah.
with some pozole and some meat, not a meat
Well,
stew.
and when you say supposed to be, so what makes you the expert?
I don't know, just research.
Okay,
And lots
let's
of
hear it.
restaurants and,
Uh,
eating.
You used to live in Mexico before you lived in Italy, before you lived in France.
No, my dad lived down there.
Okay.
And I would always order pozole if they had it on the menu. But
Uh-huh.
pozole is one of those Saturday soups that they make in Mexico, or menudo's another one. They don't serve that all the time. It's
Uh-huh.
a certain day that you can get it. So if it's there and on the menu, you got to go for it.
Yeah.
Does menudo have hominy in it as well?
No.
No.
Tripe.
Oh, okay,
Just
that's
tripe,
right.
yeah.
That's right. Another Mexican.
But usually it's one day because it cooks for multiple days. Same with pozole. I mean, there were restaurants here in town. You and I like the same place. The gal that owned the taco place up by up on Holman Road.
Right now, nobody knows what you're talking about. I don't even know what you're talking
What
about.
is the difference? So Loretta said last week her favorite is the chicken tortilla soup,
Uh-huh.
and she could eat that every day. What's the difference between chicken tortilla soup and pozole?
So pozole is traditionally made with pork, but it can be made with chicken.
Okay.
And depending on where you're located in Mexico, if you're from the north, it's traditionally made with some tomato, but mostly chilies, a broth of chilies, and the pork is cooked
Okay.
in that broth, and then the hominy is par cooked and added to the soup.
Right.
And then traditionally on the side, so you get this very rich meat broth that Tom loves with big chunks of pork that's been seared.
And lots of hominy.
Right. And then the homony's in there, but on the side you get shaved cabbage,
Oh, that's right.
lime, and usually shaved or diced onions with cilantro on the side.
Uh-huh.
And where chicken tortilla soup would, without the tortillas, would the contents
You
be
cook
similar?
a whole chicken and make the broth and then shred.
But you still can use, like, I think typical Americans to me, or people that look like me, I'll say, are a little scared of all the dried Mexican chilies.
Mhm.
Right.
And I think we think that they're all going to be too spicy and too this
Right.
and that. And they're
No,
really
not at
not.
all.
There's so many good, mild
Yeah.
chilies.
Yeah.
And I think we just have to understand how to use them, right?
Right.
You have to toast them over the flame. You have to then hydrate them. You have to puree them and then strain them so you get rid of the skins.
Right.
And you end up with this beautiful paste,
Beautiful.
right?
Beautiful.
And that helps form the broth of your soup, or whether
Okay.
it's menudo, or whether it's chicken tortilla soup, or
Right.
whether it's pozole.
Uh-huh.
So
Right. Like when you talk sauces, a Colorado sauce is chilies with a little bit of tomato.
Ah.
A ranchero sauce is a tomato sauce
Uh-huh.
with a little bit of chili. A
Interesting.
verde,
Green
and so
tomatillo.
Green
in
chilies with
Mexico,
tomatillo.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
yeah, and in Mexico, the further south you go, then you get into tomatillos and you get into greens and whites and different regional pozoles.
Okay, so if I were to answer my own question,
Yes.
is it unreasonable for me to think that my pozole can be as good or better than the?
Mhm.
It's really one of those. I guess the point being subjective, right? You have to, like our friends who came up and owned their own lasagna.
Yeah.
You own your own style of pozole.
Right.
The good news
Right.
is when I made enough to put it in the freezer, it does freeze beautifully, reheats beautifully, and then Carmen ate some.
And
She said,
And you quote,
"This is not pozole."
oh,
She said this is stew, and she loved it, but to her, she would not consider it pozole.
because it wasn't brothy enough.
I think so, yeah.
Interesting.
And but she liked it, and I love it.
yeah, I'm excited to try it someday.
Well, I still have some in my freezer.
Perfect.
Yeah, exactly.
That's awesome.
So that's the answer to my question. I answered my own question. You know, they say, don't ever ask a question that you don't know the answer to.
Do they?
And you have to, sometimes you just have to own it. Like, I like this style. Yeah. I think that's the important part. Okay.
All right.
Pantry refresh for the new year. That's what's coming up
Up
next here on the Hot
next.
Stove on Cairo Radio 97.3.1. Okay. Okay.
Have you been to that Mexican place at 3rd
I have no idea what you're talking
and
about.
85th? Kitty corner from Fred Meyer on 85th Northwest.
No.
Go in there. It's the Mexican one right on the
Yeah, I
corner.
know it.
Their pozole, you'll love it.
Okay.
It's the darker reddish and it's like layer of grease on top. That's
The
what
last one I
ordered.
had was at El Cabana, La Cabana, there on
Cabana.
105th between Greenwood and
when you
Aurora.
go up over the hill.
Yeah.
Is it good? The one on 85th is very porky and very
Yeah, that's more my idea. I want that little sheen on the top.
right.
Whereas Carmen doesn't like grease.
Oh, interesting.
Right.
And she does a white one.
No, she does. The one I had was tomato.
Oh,
All right, here we go. You guys ready?
Okay.
Only two
Ready.
more segments. We're back here in the hot stove, enjoying our time with our fabulous guests today.
Ah,
There's
got
a
nice
party
crowd.
of 8 in the front row. It's nice to see you all here.
Thanks for coming.
Where are you headed? Where are you headed after this?
We don't have big plans, but we are tag team Thursday adventure group. So today
Oh.
Oh.
Can you repeat that into the mic?
Tag team adventure group every Thursday. That
They
sounds
do
like
something
fun.
different.
Yeah.
Fun. What a good
Fun.
idea. It's so much better than a book club. I'm not much of a reader because I fall asleep.
Oh, I love book club.
Do you?
Yeah, yeah.
What
No,
book
but are you
But I'm
reading?
guys a
listening right
book
now,
club
it's-
also?
How to read.
Oh.
How to read a book.
You're reading a book called How to
How
Read,
to read
a
a
Book?
book. Yeah. It's
And
interesting.
Did
And-
you learn anything yet?
Well, I just on my drive over this morning, I connected
Audiobook?
two dots,
Oh,
and
so
it's
you-
exciting. I'm
You-
listening.
You
yeah.
don't read. You
I
listen.
mostly listen.
Okay.
Mostly listen. Yeah.
And so, what's the
No,
first
I
thing you,
read.
you heard? That
Well, I don't want to spoil it. If you read How to Read a
It's-
Book,
It's okay.
it's okay. The person
Nobody's even heard of the
that
book.
went to
before.
jail meets the victim's husband. Sean, can you cut this out?
So I don't
I was like,
understand.
whoa,
We're not
what
cutting
was
this.
that?
I don't
We're not-
understand. Is that like
It's a
a
mystery.
plot line?
It's a mystery. So now we're going to see how those characters develop.
Oh, I see.
They met
So
each
you
other.
start with a little plot idea,
Uh-huh.
and then you develop the backstory.
Yes.
Oh, see,
That's
I should
exciting.
I should write a book.
I think you've written
Matter
a
of fact,
couple.
I've written 4.
Yeah, there you go.
Bridget, we're going to do a little pantry refresh.
All right.
And I'll tell you the first thing I did at the farm this weekend was that it was I was working on the chicken coop doors when I was going to try and hang them, but it was raining like sideways, which doesn't happen very often at our farm. So didn't do it.
When you
Cold,
get that
rainy.
wet,
Yeah.
it's
So instead, I went through the pantry and edited things that either I knew I was never going to use or that were severely out of date. I'm not a big person like if this has been out of date for a month or it's a best by date. It's not this is bad by date.
Right.
It's a best by date, right?
right. You mean
So often people throw away stuff that's still perfectly good.
Mhm.
because
but-
the date on the bottle said.
It says best by. It doesn't say it's bad after this
Right,
date.
right,
It says
right.
best by.
And
Anyway,
when you talk pantry, you're including everything.
Everything.
Fridge, freezer, dry goods,
canned goods.
canned
yeah,
goods. Yeah, everything.
everything.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's
But are you
And
wasting?
I was doing this because I was so ticked off about the fish sauce from the night before ruining my dinner
yeah.
because it was 7 years out of date.
Well, do you remember when we did the pumpkin tasting and I snuck a homemade pumpkin from
Uh-huh.
the cans?
Oh, I do.
and
It didn't.
I had a very small bottle of olive oil or avocado oil, not in a hot place. I always buy a smaller amount so it doesn't
Uh-huh.
spoil. I didn't taste it first, but you
Ooh.
guys all did. We had Jim in the audience, and you two right away said something's right.
Something's wrong
rancid.
here.
Something's wrong. Something's not right. And I said,
You know who sang that?
for
Nurse
Mabel,
Clavel.
yeah.
Something is not right. Something's very wrong.
Well, that-
Something is not right.
Is this a
That's
show
why I wrote this song.
Madeline. So that was my mistake. So now Every time, even this weekend, I had a big thing of avocado oil. I tasted it first.
You couldn't have had a big one because you just said you only buy
That was at the
small
cabin.
things.
That was at the
Oh,
house.
okay.
She
My,
was at Costco.
my friend brought a Costco, and I said, "Don't bring a Costco size because it's going to spoil," and it
Yeah.
hasn't.
Well, good.
Okay.
Lesson learned. So I was going through the pantry and through the drawers. You know, my mother-in-law passed 2 years ago now out at the farm, and so I was noticing in some of the drawers that there were some of her very favorite things,
Hmm.
like this
Oh.
particular sauce
Oh.
from Costa Rica that she would mail order for, that she used in her rice and beans,
Mm.
which of course we haven't. I made some of that for her funeral, for her like a memorial.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
And so I looked at the dates on it. It was 7 years old. So I just kind of went through the pantry. So I think before you can restock the pantry, that's a good exercise to do. And as you know, I've always said over the years that it's a good time during the big game
Yes.
to kind of do this kind of homework,
Yes.
right? Because it's like
Watch
it's a reminder.
TV.
It's a
and-
reminder date. Like every
Oh,
time
that's
the
good.
big game
That's good.
is happening in February, you just kind of go through your kitchen while it's going on. Because
I need to.
the big game goes on for about 18 hours.
Yeah, it's
And
true.
it feels like a very unuseful day.
It's true. It's true.
Yeah.
I'm going to need to just empty the door of my fridge.
Yeah, exactly.
Literally, there's some stuff in there I noticed, and I was like, oh my God.
Yeah.
They're kind of cool looking bottles, but literally, the only thing on that door that I touch are the capers and the anchovies.
Yeah.
Everything else is funk.
They're a good combo together, too. So that's not a bad thing. Okay, so same thing with the freezer.
Mhm.
As you know, my taste last week was mushroom ravioli,
Right.
but it came from charred out of the freezer.
Yeah.
We took all the last of the processed onions and peppers and sauteed them. So I have little half-pint containers of sauteed onions and peppers,
Mm.
all brown and ready to go, like boom, into some chicken broth. You have soup. So I took one of those, took the mushroom duxelle that I had
Yes.
from an event that I did at the house, and just used 4 containers to make up my mushroom filling. And on top of that, I went through the cheese drawer, because we keep a whole drawer of different cheeses, and used up the 2-year-old Gruyere.
2-year-old.
Yeah, the cave aged Gruyere. I
Oh.
had bought it 2 years prior. It was still in. It
Yeah.
was perfectly good.
Yeah.
Still in the plastic. And so yeah,
Tom's
just,
cave fridge.
yeah, exactly. So anyway, it's a good time to edit, and then you can rebuild.
And
from
this is kind of my favorite way to cook is just opening up and making the best with what you have.
Uh-huh.
It's super fun. And then you and Jackie made pasta and then filled the ravioli with all that.
With all that, yeah,
Oh.
that was the
Nice.
filling for the
Nice.
ravioli. And I even took not old breadsticks, but breadsticks,
Uh-huh.
and made the cracker crumb for my breadcrumbs out of
Ooh,
it. Just put a
yum.
rolling pin on them.
Yeah.
You know, we keep a little box of those grissini in the
Right. Oh, that's a good idea.
Yeah, it's just
Use
any
those
sort
for
of cracker
breadcrumbs.
you could use up for make
Mhm.
your own breadcrumbs. You don't need breadcrumbs and crackers.
Right.
Just
One or the other. That's a good idea.
little things.
So when we reopen, I have a little sidebar, and that is when we reopened Hot Stove here and started doing classes again. Sean and I were the only people here teaching classes. Sean was running the front of the house, and then you and I were teaching classes
Online.
online, and we
Yeah.
did a
Oh.
lot of cocoa pie classes. So I washed and saved all the vanilla beans, and we had some booze and stuff in the fridge. So I grabbed whiskey and I put it in a bottle, and I had labeled it, but I
What
think
was
the-
it in? What was the whiskey in if it wasn't in a bottle?
well, it was like a Maker's Mark or something
Uh-huh.
like that, and there wasn't a ton. So I was putting all the vanilla beans in there,
Uh-huh.
and I think the sticker had fallen off, and you threw it away. It was the most amazing vanilla extract.
Uh,
And I'm like, where did it go? And
So
you're like,
labeling
I
is-
threw
is a
everything
lesson.
away. He went into the fridge and he threw
I'm
everything out.
I'm a good editor. My dad was a hoarder. And
Oh,
so-
really?
Yeah. So for me, it's just the opposite.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
Okay, that's good to know. But yeah, I was sad. I think about that every time I grab the vanilla, Tom. I think of you throwing out that.
But your point is well taken that this is a perfect time to get creative and use ingredients in little bits and elevate it, turn it into something
It's
else,
true.
or
It's true.
Okay. compost it.
Well, vanilla bean costs about $3 a piece now, don't they?
Yeah, they're expensive.
Yeah.
Oh, but what about spices?
what about them?
I have a.
It's
ton
it's
in
the
my
big game.
drawer.
It's time to dump them.
It's a year, right?
Yeah, 1
Don't
year.
they say it's a
1
year?
year.
Yep.
You don't go out and buy $30 a pound Wagyu steak and put 5-year-old spices on top of them. So That's really what twists me up.
I know we all, but everybody's wincing here because we all
You know
probably
you
have
do.
spices in the drawer. So I've been going down to World Spice and getting their teeny little jars.
Yeah, exactly.
I like
And you
PCC
can
and I
call
get
them in.
bulk.
You can just do it online. Just tell them what you want, so it's all ready to go.
Yeah.
And then you just dump them.
Put them into the little bottles and that's it.
Yeah. I went to my mother-in-law's house one time and I said, "Do you have any paprika?" And she goes in all the way to the back of her spice cabinet, and there's this old Crescent can of paprika that she hands me. Like
It smells like nothing.
it was 30 years old.
Yeah.
Yeah. Just saying.
That's a good point, Becky. Smell your spices.
Yep.
And if you don't get anything, pitch it.
Yep.
Good point. And the other way to think about that is if you put, say, coriander seed into a pan and roast it,
Toast it a little bit.
and
yeah.
you still don't smell anything, you're really in trouble.
Okay.
Yeah.
Huck it.
So, you had mentioned earlier about buying a small bottle of avocado oil and stuff like. I
Mhm.
think people make that mistake quite often.
Mhm.
They buy too big of a container and then it sits around.
You think you're saving money, but at the end, you're really not.
You're really not.
Yeah. I think
There's
that's
seen, I love Costco. There's things that I buy there, but
right.
that is not one of
No.
them.
No.
Yeah.
Although I did buy, they had the big Malden salt for,
Oh,
Yeah,
the
that's
big
not
tub.
or
Yeah, it's not
something.
going to go
That's,
bad. Right?
that's fun to have.
Yeah.
Yeah.
and then just put it in smaller bits and share.
Why do you like Malden? How do you use it?
Oh, just a finishing salt. I just love that. Let's say on an
The crunchy-
avocado, that little crunchy bit, and
Uh-huh.
it's just delicious. And it's
The
It's
other
not
day,
very-
somebody here was grinding up Malden for our salt dishes.
Oh, no way.
Yeah. Yeah.
Whoops.
And I said, "What are you doing? This salt is 4 times the price of our kosher salt. Why are you grinding up the Malden?"
uh-huh.
Well, it was too big a flake.
That's awesome.
I about had a heart
Was
attack.
well, never mind. Oh, that's funny.
Yeah, it's super funny.
That's
Yeah.
pretty
So
fun.
Loved
some,
it.
so good point. Some spices last longer than more, like pepper and salt.
Yeah.
But others.
But
it's
even
time-
pepper is not
It
a
does.
good. Pepper goes bad pretty
Okay.
quickly.
Yeah,
not,
you just get
not bad, just less potency.
Less pungent.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
just have a grocery store that you go to that has the little spice area where you can get the little teeny baggies rather than the jars.
Uh huh.
You know
Well, you
how
have to
old-
put. Personally, they're better off stored in a jar with a tight lid than
Mhm.
they are in
Correct.
those bags.
Yeah,
you,
yeah, yeah. The
you have
bags
to have
are-
a set of jars.
I have
Correct.
that, and then I go to PCC and just do bulk and just
Uh-huh.
buy half a jar worth each
Yeah.
time. That's
Yeah,
what I do. To
exactly.
keep
Little
it
bit.
fresh.
Yeah.
My original spice cabinet that I have on the side of my fridge was on both Martha Stewart's show and the Oprah show.
Oh.
Because at the time, I think I was the first person to have the magnetic. I used the knife bars
Uh-huh.
with the metal tins
Yeah.
to make and some of those tins are not magnetic, so I glued washers to the back of the tins to make them stick to me. And Martha
Brilliant.
loved it, and
Uh-huh.
she actually came out with a version of it in her line.
Did you get
And
residuals?
Oprah loved it on. No, I didn't get a thing other than a little smooch on the cheek, which is a lot from Martha.
Yeah. That's
Oh,
that's not
yeah.
her style.
That's not her gig.
No.
She does a lot of CBD now, so she does that more.
She's
I think.
okay.
Yeah.
Snoop Dogg has had a very interesting effect on Martha.
She smokes a lot of pot these days.
When was the last time you heard the word smooch? That made me feel very old. Okay, when we come back, we're going to finish up the show with a little food for thought, tasty trivia on Cairo Radio. It's the Hot Stove Society Show, 97.3 FM.
Madhu, you ready? Come on up.
Oh, nice.
I don't trust this. Madhu actually asked to be on trivia, which means he's kind of a smarty pants. He wants to show us who's who.
I think the trivia has gotten harder in the last year.
It's this little witch right here. And if you notice, the third person in the row is the one who gets the hardest questions. I don't know if you've noticed that or not.
It's hard. Oh, it has gotten harder. I was trying to make it easier because people have said they like to play along. So I've been trying to.
It's in here.
Okay, so tell
I
'em-
used to get more
Don't-
correct
Okay.
than I do now.
Well, you're getting
Don't
older
soften
too.
up. It's even hard for us.
I do like feedback. So
But
that's
I
good.
learn more. So I'm learning. So thank you for teaching.
All right.
Yeah, if she knows all the answers, why have the
There you
questions?
go.
Yeah.
Becky's a smarty pants. She doesn't sleep.
That's not true. It's just a little passion project.
Yeah. Welcome back to the Hot Stove Society show on Cairo. If you have the post-holiday blahs, Rub with Love can help spice things up at the dinner table. Stop by Seatown at the Pike Place Market, Serious Pie in Ballard, or here at the Hot Stove Society. Pick up a new flavor that you haven't tried before. I used mushroom in my New Year's Eve dinner.
Yeah.
I used 3 different rubs. It was pretty spectacular. You can also try our current faves on something new, like salmon rub on pork chops or pizza spice on chicken. Can you imagine making that kind of leap
Sounds great.
with the Rub with Love spice rubs?
Oh my God.
Anyway, we're available at 5,000 retail outlets around the country. You pick them up at your favorite store, or if they're not there, make sure you ask for them. Don't you think?
You bet.
Absolutely.
All right, Becky, what are we going to play, and how do we play the game?
Well, we've got a audience member, Madhu's brave soul is going to be contestant number 2. Each one of you get 5 questions, and the winner will pick. Well, Madhu might win. We'll see.
He might win. He already owns a free spice rub.
That's
We'll have to
right.
make him give away the next batch to
There we
somebody
go.
else.
So whoever wins gets to pick someone in the audience to take a stroll through the gift shop and get a 3-pack of Rub with Love Spice Blend.
Okay,
So
perfect.
it's fun. Okay, we're going to start with Bridget, so Madhu
Okay,
can see how
I'm
it's
ready.
done. All right. Number 1 is multiple choice because you've
Is
been
it all about tapas?
well, you've been gone for a while, so I'm going easy on you.
Okay.
Multiple choice. Broccoli, the nutritious green veggie we all know, didn't grow naturally in the wild. It's actually man-made. What plant was selectively bred to create broccoli? Was it spinach, wild cabbage, or kale?
I'm going to guess kale.
It's actually, it was selectively bred with wild cabbage, the same plant family that gives us cauliflower, Brussels sprouts, and kale. It's a true testament to the creativity of early farmers.
Wow.
So, but interesting.
I did not know that.
Okay. Number 2.
So is that the original GMO?
Well, it's not
Hybridized,
Yeah,
not
yeah,
GMO.
But yeah. See what you're saying. Number 2, what French cooking term meaning to crush or grind refers to a roughly chopping ingredients like tomatoes for sauces or garnishes?
Ooh, I know this one. But you've been in Spain. You might not know this.
French term.
Yeah. I think
Does it
it's
start with an
tomato-
M?
Nope.
Nope.
Concasse.
You got
Yes.
it. Good job. All right.
Thanks for the hint, Tom.
Number
Or
3.
Becky, tomato.
What chocolate alternative popular in hippie era recipes is
Carob?
connected to the term? You got it. But it's connected to the term carat used to measure gemstones. And you got it right with carob. But I thought this was fascinating. The seeds of the carrot pod were prized for their uniform weight, making them ideal for measuring gemstones.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Interesting. The only reason I know about that is my mom used to go to those hippie stores where they had bulk food, and she wouldn't
PCC.
buy the chocolate. She'd buy the carob
I was in the same.
and make us chocolate
you
chip
say that-
cookies with this.
You say that
was
with
like,
such
what?
disdain.
Oh, it was bad. You
I-
should see.
Same
like, ugh.
experience. Yep. Okay, number 4. The inside of burrata is filled with a creamy mixture of fresh cream and mozzarella strands. What is this delicious filling called?
Ooh.
Its name comes from an Italian word meaning rags or shreds. There may be a soup and a ice cream.
Rags or stracciatella.
Tom's given me the stink eye. I gave her too
Wow.
much. Well, I felt
Yeah, it was
bad.
like, how
She
many
felt
hints was
bad.
that? That's like
She's
15 hints
hammered
in
me the
one
past
question.
few episodes.
All right.
I've gotten 2 hints.
Your final question. Fact or
I'm
myth?
feeling jet lag kick in here. Okay, go ahead.
Fact or myth? Eating carrots improves night vision.
Fact or
Myth.
50-50 chance here, Bridget.
I know.
What about wearing your glasses on your head? Does that improve night vision?
Yeah, it holds my hair back. I'm gonna say it's myth. No, it's
Fact myth.
it's a myth.
It's a myth. This was World War II propaganda though vitamin A in carrots is good for your eyes. It's a myth. But, all right, 4 out of 5.
Not bad, Bridget.
Wow, Tom.
All right, Madhu, you ready?
Probably not.
Okay.
Let's talk right
Oh,
into
yeah.
that microphone. There we go.
Okay, number 1. What is the most consumed vegetable in the world?
Ooh, vegetable.
Hmm.
Keyword.
Corn.
Actually, potato, but that's close. That's a good guess.
Is
I was gonna
corn
say-
a vegetable or a grass?
It's a vegetable.
Is it?
I was going to say onion.
Oh, that would have
Some
been a
people
good
say
guess.
tomatoes, but then that's what you were
That's a
giving
fruit,
the tip.
right?
Yes, that's right. Okay, number 2.
Okay.
True or false? Broccolini was developed through genetic modification.
True.
It's actually false.
False. Yeah, that's the
Broccolini
spring
was created
shoot.
kind of in the 80s or 70s in Japan as a natural hybrid of broccoli and gailan, which is Chinese broccoli.
Chinese broccoli.
Yeah. So,
That's cool.
all right. Number 3. In the 19th century, what vegetable was known as sparrowgrass? If you say it quickly 3 times, it might. Sparrowgrass.
Asparagus.
You've just said it.
Asparagus.
There you go. Good job. Okay. Number 4. True or false? Japanese konbini like 7-Eleven are famous for onigiri, ramen, and egg salad sandwiches on milk bread. Despite their popularity in Japan, 7-Eleven is still American owned.
False.
That is false.
Who owns it?
Southland and
7 and I Holdings.
Yeah.
And I mean, they're big in Japanese culture.
Oh,
There's in Japan, there's one 7-Eleven for every 6,000 people. And in
Wow.
the US, there's one store for every 37,000 people.
wow.
All right, final question. Fact or myth? Lobsters were once considered food for the poor.
True.
That is true.
Fact.
It's
Yeah.
a fact. They were so abundant in colonial times, they were fed to prisoners and servants.
Yeah.
Oh, good
Huh.
job. 3 out of 5.
nice job,
Nice
Madhu.
work.
Thank you.
Good job.
All right. Tom, you ready?
Yes and
Okay.
yes.
Yes and no.
Yes and
I don't know if you noticed, but I brought sunscreen and my sunglasses
I've
today.
heard.
I might be on vacation already.
Which fruit is a hybrid of the pomelo and an orange?
Tangerine,
Grapefruit.
grapefruit.
Grapefruit. You don't care. You're
You
going on a
answered
plane.
to-
All right. Multiple choice. What is Penicillium nalgiovense commonly found on, and what does it do? Is it found on cheese and it enhances the aging process? Is it found on yogurt, adds probiotics for gut health? Is it the white coating on cured meats that protects against harmful bacteria and molds? Or is it found in bread that aids in the rising and texture? Penicillium. It's actually the white coating on
On
cured meats, a beneficial mold that
cured
protects
meats?
against bacteria and molds
Oh.
while
I
enhancing
thought it was
the
off of
flavor.
blue cheese. Isn't that funny?
Well,
Maybe they inject blue cheese with that.
yeah, it might be the same one, but
I know I used to eat a lot of blue cheese when I had bronchitis.
did it help?
Because
You
it
don't
had
know.
kind of
You just like the taste. Okay, number 3. What popular
Where's
coffee
the
alternative?
audience when I need them?
You can help. You can help. What popular coffee alternative known for its nutty flavor?
Chicory.
Yes, good job. Say it with conviction.
See, you got an easy one.
What country has banned junk food ads on public transport starting July 1 to combat obesity? The ban covers images of Chalkies, lollies, even Tam Tams,
Oh.
ice creams, soft drinks, and chips.
Note the words.
Lollies and Chalkies.
Well, I'm thinking the UK, but is it more specific as in Scotland? Because Tam Tams
No,
are
I'm
big in
thinking
Scotland.
Australia.
They're also big in
Australia.
South Australia.
South Australia.
Yeah.
Australia.
Mhm.
Obesity, huh? Are they having a problem?
Well, the whole world is, but that's their way of.
Everyone but Becky has a problem. And Madhu.
Yeah.
It's his lasagna, veggie lasagna. Okay, final question. Fact or myth? Fortune cookies were originally created in China as a savory snack before a meal.
Myth.
That's right. Do you know the truth?
They're somewhere in the USA, is my
Yeah.
guess.
California. Yeah, you got it. 2 out of 5. So, Bridget, you are the winner. With
Oh, you're so nice, Becky.
So, after the show, you get to pick an audience member.
Speaking of
awesome.
California, tragic what's happening down there.
I know
so-
a friend who lost his house.
Yeah.
Yeah, I have
Yeah.
a couple of friends.
I mean,
that
we
lost
just saw
their
this in
house.
Lahaina, and now it's happening
I know.
again. It's like,
Yeah.
it's tough pill to swallow. If
Yeah.
you want to be part of the show, you can join the community on YouTube Live at Tom Douglas & Co. or buy a ticket to join us in the studio at hotstovesociety.com. The show is produced by Becky Guzak, who hates me.
Not
Our technical
true.
wizard is Cameron Thomas and Nico. And our talented editor at Cairo is Sean. Please don't call me Del Torre. If you miss any episode of our Hot Stove Society show on Cairo, please listen via podcast. Just subscribe with your favorite podcast app.
Thanks for listening. Quiet
There you
on the
go.
set.
All
Quiet
right.
on the set.
I'm hearing some dinging in the.
Is that it for bells over there? Turn off the fans for a sec, would you please? Hear them coming down.
They're off. They're off.
I think it's the freezer that just kicked in. Hi, I'm Chef Tom Douglas.
And I'm Bridget Charters.
Today on the Hot Stove Society radio show, Bridget's going to share a few of her flavor insights from a recent trip to Europe. Spain. We're turning our ordinary lasagna into something extraordinary with the help of some audience members. And we're going to explore New Orleans cuisine with Chef Sean McFadden.
All right.
Perfect.
All right.
Thank
Thanks for
you.
coming.
So you get to pick someone from the audience?
I'm going to pick our friend that invited all of her friends.
Oh, that's nice.
That's so nice.
Thanks.
Yeah, well,
So you get to select.
thank you. That was fun.
Thank you.
Bring your buddy.